Yeah, let's do another one on a Friday night. The FOMO is kicking my ass right now. I should be at fireworks night. Nah. Instead, I'm here to take your calls at 888-808-1019 because the Yankees win. The Yankees win. The Mets got smoked. We'll get to it. But that was a quick and easy get back to Yankee Stadium, get back home after an off day. Just a nice night to watch baseball and a cool night. So everybody's all right out there. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to take calls. We're going to talk about some other stories in Major League Baseball, NHL draft tonight. And I mean, really, it's about the Mets and Yankees and where we are at this point in the season. We're now in the second half of the season. We're now getting close to the next Subway Series. We're now getting close to the All-Star break and trade deadline, and some things got to happen. You know, earlier in the day today, we learned that Griffin Canning, and we knew, but we learned that Griffin Canning was placed on the 60-day IL with a ruptured Achilles. He's done. And so the Mets have to make some kind of move, some type of decision here with this rotation because they need help. And the narrative for the start of the season was, wow, Jeremy Hefner's pitching lab is amazing. Wow, look at David Stearns again, not spending on starting pitching. And even with Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas down, look what the Mets have been able to do. Look how many close games the Mets were able to win without their full complement of offensive weapons producing. The pitching was the strong part of the team, even the bullpen. But then that started to erode. The bullpen started to get tired. And as we're seeing back-to-back starts from David Peterson after he threw a complete game, David Peterson has not been good. Maybe he's hurt, but he can't be hurt right now. If he has something ailing him, he can't go down right now. He needs to be the ace. But they're in complete flux. Kodai Senga is out. Tyler McGill is out. Add Griffin Canning. And now you're relying on Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes, who hit a wall. Frankie Montas, who just got back and went 5 innings, 80 pitches, a good outing. Clay Holmes, who has never pitched this much by this time in recent time as a reliever. There's some question marks, and I think David Stearns has to answer those questions sooner rather than later because it's going to be an interesting stretch. For the Mets, this was supposed to be a get-right series out in P-Town, right? After you split the series against the Braves, you salvage that after the drama of watching Griffin Canning go down and the team saying, okay, we're not going to lose tonight. We're going to do this for Griff. We're going to throw a bullpen game and get the most out of the bullpen. You kind of knew that back-to-back nights going to the pen would not be the formula, and you kind of wanted David Peterson on the mound to kind of stabilize things and maybe get you to the 7th inning, and that wasn't what was in the plans. You have Peterson go out there, and in the first inning, he gets through, but in the second inning, the Buccos put up a 4 spot, small ball, just putting ball in the play. Trouble with a walk, and then a single scores the first run. Then Juan Soto, asleep at the wheel, takes 2 steps in and then can't get back to make a play on a ball that goes over his head. That Canario double makes it 2-0. Former Yankee IKF out there singles to make it 3-0. And before you know it, Tommy Pham grounds out, and it's 4-zip Pirates, the 33-50 Pirates, the 5th place team in the National League Central, at home on a Friday night wearing their City Connect uniforms, feeling good about where they are against the Mets. 888-808-1019. And a couple innings go by, and you do get another meaningless Juan Soto solo shot. But he's got 20 home runs now. He's going to be in the All-Star game. So no biggie, no biggie. You got Juan Soto headed to the All-Star game. You can celebrate that. But ultimately, this game was cooked. They were done as soon as Peterson was done. He only goes 4 2/3, giving up 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. And you got to go to Blade Daywalker Tidwell for the rest of the game. Also, now Blade Daywalker Tidwell will make a start against the Brewers. And don't look now, but like the Brew Crew is pretty decent. The Brew Crew right now, They're facing the Rockies. They're up 7-6 in the bottom of the eighth. I did see before, Jackson Churio had a 3-run shot. Yankee farmhand Caleb Durbin is 2 for 3 out there. The Brewers, they're 45-36. They're pretty decent. And they're going to step right up and meet the Mets back at Citi Field after this series. So the Mets have to get right this weekend and win the next 2 games, because you go into this 3-game set with the Brewers and then boom, 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 the Subway Series. Mark Vientos first night back. Mark Vientos activated. You need Swaggy V to bring his bat. You need that guy to be what he was for the team last year. The second half of last year into the postseason, he goes 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. Lindor, pinky toe, I don't know what it is. He goes 0 for 4 leading off with 2 Ks. Pete Alonso, 1 for 4 with the strikeout. Jeff McNeil, another guy, 0 for 4 with the strikeout. Too many offers. Hayden Sanger, 0 for. Because you're in a situation now where you're relying on Hayden Sanger because Francisco Alvarez is down. Injuries and guys not playing well. This Mets team looks completely different than they looked to start the season. This Mets team right now has to answer a lot of questions at the trade deadline. They got to get healthy, and they got to right the ship. Because just like that, let's see, did Philly end up winning? Did Philly end up finishing that game? It's they're going to win. They're up 11-0 now as I check back on that. They jumped all over the Braves pretty quickly. Yeah, they had 5 runs, 6 runs. They just put up 6 runs in the third. So Philly is most likely going to beat the Atlanta Braves, and then we'll check back with the standings at some point. But I know no Mets fans call my show, and I know no Mets fans want to talk to me. So let's get to your New York Yankees. Bam, 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 bam. I said the FOMO is kicking my ass a Friday night in the Boogie Down Bronx. I heard Milton out there ringing the cowbell. I heard the Creatures hitting him with the oh. I'm like, damn. Yankees baseball. Mets suck. Boston sucks. Box seats suck. Everybody sucks. I'm like, I should have been out there tonight. But it's my anniversary weekend. Tomorrow marks 6 years since I proposed to my wife before we went to the media day for the London series out there at Olympic Stadium when the Yankees took on the Red Sox. So I'm not working this weekend. I'm working tonight, but I'm not going to be on Sunday with any Sunday sauce. And I knew I couldn't. I could have went to the game and drove here, but I knew if I went to the game and they win like that, quick and easy, 3-0 shutout, and then they have the fireworks, I'm like, I'm not going to want to leave. But I hope everybody's having a good time. The Yankee Stadium fireworks are awesome. And there were fireworks early for your New York Yankees in this game. We'll start with the offense because they didn't need too much offense tonight. 4 hits. 4 hits to score you 3 runs. Started off with smooth Jazz. Pimping ain't easy, but it's under control. Jazz homers in back-to-back games. Jazz is locked in. I just listened to Jazz in the postgame, and I feel like he said a lot of things. All right, what the team learned. He already is talking about how this learning experience is going to help them in October. And, he gets it started tonight. He kind of, hits that first home run to crack it open and get Yankee Stadium going in the second inning. And then Cody Bellinger, Saved by the Bell. Stay hot, Belly. Keep doing your thing, man. Cody Bellinger in the bottom of the third, singles. And that scores Anthony Volpe motoring. Yankees go up 2-0. DJ LeMahieu, singles. And that scores Paul Goldschmidt in the 4th inning. And then you wouldn't need anything else. But you know who I got to talk about right now? This young man, Will Warren. I saw him at Fanatics Fest on stage. He is growing up right before our eyes. I don't think any of us thought that Will Warren would be the version of himself that he is. He was supposed to be depth. As Marcus Strowman is coming back, and Marcus Strowman is going to pitch Sunday, as obviously Garrett Cole went down, as we had the veteran Carlos Carrasco pitching for the Yankees team, Will Warren, who made his debut last year in a couple spot starts, man, has he matured. TWTW. I usually say TWTW, the will to win, but that kid has the will to win and the will to warn, because early in that game, it was shaky. Earlier in that game, he had 36 pitches. right? He had his strikeouts, but he also had his walks. The umps, they start off shaky too in the beginning of the game. It's a feeling out process. But Will Warren bounced back with an 11-pitch second inning, and then after that, he was good. Will Warren goes 5 innings, only giving up 2 hits. And I think his prop, I think they were, shout out to Jeff Nelson and Ryan Rucco. They were talking about his prop. He strikes out 7, and, I wasn't sure if he was going to get there because of his pitch count, but he had 3 strikeouts early. He gets to 7 strikeouts. This guy is leading the rookies in strikeouts in baseball, I believe. And I just think about how he got rocked in Dodger Stadium and how he learned from that and how he's been able to stabilize, and he has been solid for the New York Yankees. This guy is a whole rookie. This young man, he's got the stuff. He's 26, so he's not like a young rookie, but, man, he's been great, homegrown talent. And, the Yankees have needed this. Through this stretch, Will Warren has been good. As we, complain about the runners left on base and not scoring with runners in scoring position, when they opened up the game tonight, they said that the Yankees were coming off going 5 for 43 against the Reds and losing that series. Off day was needed. They get back home. They handle business tonight. And you know what? I even like late in the game, after, the bullpen does its thing too. You hand the ball to Tim Hill, Fernando Cruz control, Weavy Wonder, and then Devin Williams, the airbender. And they all were great. They all had a strikeout. They all handled business. They didn't give up anything. But, I like Belly in the 8th inning, still fighting with a knock and a stolen base. Like, hey, let's try and add some more on, some insurance. They wouldn't need it. Devin Williams didn't blow it. Devin Williams is a different guy now at this point. They flashed his stats about how far he has come. And now he's in the closer role as they intended him to be in the beginning of the year, man. The season is a roller coaster. It's ebbs and flows. It's a marathon. And if you love the team, you're going to be up with the team. If you love the team, you're also going to be down with the team. But you stay down till you come up. You don't get off the ride. None of us are getting on this ride because we expect this ride to take us back to the World Series. And I think going through this rough stretch that they just went through in June, I think it was needed. Humble pie is always needed. A reality check is needed. And I think they're going to learn from it, because this next stretch for the Yankees, if you look at the Yankees schedule, it's not kind either. You got to go up to Toronto, go through customs, and face the Blue Jays. And then the city will be watching a holiday weekend when you face the Mets. 888-808-1019. Other news from today, Spencer Jones, go legend, young man. We started hearing rumblings earlier today about Spencer Jones potentially being called up. And that was true. And once it was confirmed, Spencer Jones ends up in the lineup for the Rail Riders. And in his first at bat, he goes deep, 109.9 miles an hour off the bat. Now I'm starting to look at this kid, and I met him. He's all of 6'7", and he looks the part. He looks like a pro. He looks ready to go. And I'm just wondering what they're doing with this young man. There's no room for him as the lineup comes out tonight. And I don't know how many people tweeted at me or text me as if because Jason Dominguez had 4 hits in his last game, he's just automatically going to be in the lineup tonight. No, they're not. They don't do that. He's in a platoon situation, and he's also a young guy. And I know it's not good for his development, Keith. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. These are good problems to have, that Trent Grisham is having a great year. But what are they doing with Spencer Jones? 888-808-1019. Is this trade bait, or are they fast tracking him? Honestly, the kid has found the power stroke. The kid has started to hit home runs at a crazy clip, and that's already legendary. Your first at bat at AAA, you go deep to deep center. You love to see it. So, I mean, the Yankees have talent. It kind of makes you think about where they could be next year. Trent Grisham's going to get paid, and I don't know if the Yankees are going to try and pay Trent Grisham. He's going to get paid more money than the Yankees really want to offer him. Belly is probably going to opt in and stay. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. But, is there an outfield next year with Spencer Jones in left? Or could he play center, or Dominguez in left, or Dominguez in center, and obviously Judge in right, or Belly still here? And I don't think they'll bring Paul Goldschmidt back. Ben Rice will get that opportunity at first, and Belly can help at first as well. And shout out to Ben Rice tonight, behind the dish. Ben Rice is actually a catcher, man. I was not sure that they believed in him as a catcher, and behind the scenes, I'm sure that they they got him right and they got him prepared, and he's perfectly fine back there. When the lineup came out today, I was like, I'm good with this. I'm good with this. I still have a little bit of issue with Trent Grisham leading off. He has good days. He has bad days. I feel like he has a little bit more bad days than good days tonight. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Not great. But ultimately, again, they did enough. Belly with 2 knocks. Jazz with a solo shot. And the DJ drives in 1 at the bottom of the order. And the Yankees cruise to a 3-0 shutout win in 2 hours and 25 minutes, returning home in front of 46,192 fans in the Bronx there to see the Bronx Bombers and the fireworks. 888-808-1019. I've got time tonight. I got time today. And I'm glad, because I know there'll be some people getting in their car soon from Yankee Stadium that watch the fireworks, and then their ride home will be a little bit later, and they'll call up and rock with me. So Yankee fans, tap in. We'll talk about where we are with the Yankees after this game. There are some things that have come out of Major League Baseball that I do want to address. Just some little stories here and there, following up on the Ketel Marte story, following up on, our division, and we'll look at some scores and some standings and stuff like that. And of course, Mets fans, dial 888-808-1019 if you want to talk to me. I don't know if there's a live Rico going on tonight. I know you'd rather have Evan Roberts on the Rico talk about the Mets. Yeah, I don't hate the Mets. They got whacked. They got smacked. They did not make it happen tonight, and that's tough. Ooh, is that a real score? Is that the real score? I'm refreshing. Is that the real score? Yeah, 22-8. The Orioles beat the Rays 22-8 in Camden Yards. So your Yankees are a game and a half above the Rays in first place. Good times tonight. 888-808-1019. Call the fan. You got me till 2 a.m. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host, talking baseball. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
And chairman of North American Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take technology to a whole new level with digital marketing.
Let's spin this a little. Let's go here and try and get that WFAN logo in there a little bit more.
Needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take,
we're glitching over here.
RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National
What's up, Marco?
is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
This summer, the World's Game comes to New York, New Jersey. MetLife Stadium will host an epic quarterfinal matchup on July 5th. Teams will be revealed soon, but one thing's clear: you won't want to miss this. Be there when it happens. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/ticket. MetLife Stadium. The world is watching.
Connecticut's best values, Town Fair Tire. They honor all manufacturer and valid competitor rebates, offer the most free services for life, plus give you the guaranteed price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
The Jeep brand has always stood for American freedom. And now we're standing with you with Employee Pricing Plus. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer for details today and join the family. Jeep, there's only one. Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Jeep brand vehicles for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. And 6/30/25. Jeep trademark of FCA US LLC.
Kiara Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. We couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. A robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at eminent.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
The Rico Brilliant podcast on the Odyssey app is proudly sponsored by Mio Sparkling Sake, the official sake of the New York Mets. Enjoy at Citi Field or your favorite spot. A new tradition in sake, Mio Sparkling Sake.
Called Yankees and Mets all season long. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Radio.
Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. David Peterson, a rough outing, smacked around 5 runs, 7 hits over 4 2/3 as the Pirates rolled the Mets 9-1.
He's having a hard time, locating at the glove side. There's a lot of arm side misses. The changeup, he's kind of just floating in the strike zone. You're having a hard time seeing that fade. And it's a big
Mets lone run coming on the 20th homer of the year for Juan Soto. His hot June continues, now 11 jacks this month. Also, no surprise, but official, Canning underwent surgery for his ruptured Achilles. His season's obviously done. Yankees able to get their series off on the right foot with the A's. Jazz Chisholm got it started. Yankees silence the A's 3-0. Dave Sims, the call here on the Fan. Will Warren struck out 7 over 5 innings, a 2-hit ball. 4 relievers then combined allowed just 1 hit. Devin Williams shut the door for his 11th save. Bombers also announced Marcus Strowman will come off the IL. He'll make the start on Sunday. Islanders picked defenseman Matthew Schaefer, number 1 overall in the draft. They also sent Noah Dobson to Montreal for 2 first-round picks, along with Emil Heineman. 66 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan, always live on the Odyssey app.
You know the whole shit.
They popping bottles in the boogie down Bronx. Phillies is going up. The dugout. Yankee Tavern. Bronx Draft House. Twins. Stands, of course. And everywhere else in between. 888-808-1019. Man, I love that you just dropped that TI. I couldn't go to sleep last night, and I realized, Instagram's algorithm has changed, where, if you start scrolling, they will just hit you with, some of the most popular videos. And they know what you like. And I like hip hop. So I ended up scrolling to this video and it was nobody had a run like T.I. had a run between 2008 and 2013. And I'm like, it's even sooner. It's even sooner. T.I. came out like King of the South with straight up hits, man. So many hits that you don't have to ever rap again. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. The Yankees win. The Yankees win. Let's get to the phones. And let's start talking about it. Steven is in Greenwich, Connecticut, first up on the Fan. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Keith, big fan over here. Calling, just coming from the Yankee game now. I just want to bring up a couple points about the Yankees. I think you're right. I don't think Trent should be a leadoff. He's very 50-50. He's iffy. He has great nights and then he has awful nights. Like tonight, he's swinging for the fences. I didn't like that. But my other question is, what are we going to do about the third base? I mean, I know Jazz is a great infielder. I would love to see him at second. He botched the ball today at third. I know it's not his natural position, but I'm just I just want to know your opinion on.
In the sixth inning, they ended up getting the double play and making up for it. But I have that in my notes too, bro. It's like let's learn from our mistakes. Let's stop playing guys out of position. Like getting somebody that's a hot corner third baseman. Like even like we have enough bats. Get somebody that can play that position. That's their true position. That's been playing it for years. Jazz is athletic. Jazz has taken on the challenge, but you can tell sometimes the ball plays him.
Absolutely, and I love him at third. He's got a great arm, but I would love to see him naturally at second. No more moving.
Steven, why is Jazz at third? Why is Jazz at third?
Oh, because there's no third baseman, and DJ LeMahieu's been putting up pretty good decent numbers.
DJ LeMahieu, and tonight we're not going to rain on DJ LeMahieu's little parade because he had a hit and drove in a run, but because of the existence of DJ LeMahieu, who can only play second base, Jazz, who was your opening day second baseman, Jazz, who you told us you traded for last year to move Glaber off second base, Jazz, who is a second baseman in most of his major league career games. I think he just played his 500th career game. Like, that's who should be at second base.
Absolutely. I would like to see what do you think about Norland's from the Cardinals? I mean, I know he's definitely past his prime, but, that gold glove never leaves, and he's a decent bat. I think why not get him? I know BT and Sal earlier were talking. BT thinks that's a major move. I don't agree with that, but I think it's a move, and I think it's definitely probably the best infield in the majors right now if you get Norland in there.
Thanks for the call, Steven. Drive home safe. Nolan Arenado is a no. He's been a no. If they wanted him, they would have got him in the offseason. It's not happening. They're not interested. I don't know how many Andy Martino reports or John Heyman or we've heard from everyone. Joel Sherm, everyone has reported on this from the winter to now. Here we are going into July. The Yankees are not interested in Nolan Arenado. He will not be your third baseman. They will not be making a trade for him. We have talked about Ryan McMahon since last year. That's a possibility. We have talked about Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks. That's a possibility. But I don't know if the Diamondbacks are going to just sell off power hitting third baseman like that. That's going to be a big part of their lineup if they're trying to compete moving forward. What other names have come up? Luis Rengifo. Recently, his name has come up. Speaking of John Heyman has an article in the New York Post that came out yesterday. Yankees have eyes on Angels third baseman Luis Rengifo, who we just saw. I wouldn't mind it. What other third baseman's name has popped up? They need somebody. At third base is the real need here. I've come off of the starting pitching a bit. Look what you have even in Will Warren, right? Clark Schmidt will go tomorrow, take the series. Rodon has been great. Max Fried is arguably the best pitcher in the American League. Luis Heel is coming back. He's at Somerset facing pitch. Like, I've come off, we need another starter. We need an ace. Like, I think they have enough starting pitching. Maybe get somebody else for the back of the bullpen. But I think the number one need is for the Yankees at the trade deadline to get an actual third baseman here, move Jazz back to second base, and move DJ to the bench. Let's go to the Bronx where the Yankees play. Angel, you're on the Fan. What's up, man?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm in here working,
Yes. So I would like to get this name out as like a trade possibility. I don't know if you know who Willie Castro is from Minnesota. He's very versatile, can definitely play third base, can play everywhere in the field, but obviously third base is your concern here. He's actually doing pretty decent in 203 at-bats, has a 2.76 average, has 7 homers, 20 RBIs, OPS of 812. He doesn't play every day, but I feel like for numbers that, where he doesn't play every day, that's pretty decent. I feel like that would be a decent pickup.
He's intriguing because Minnesota's kind of spiraling lately. Also, he can play in the outfield, and he's a switch hitter.
Yes, exactly.
He is an intriguing name. Someone recently threw his name out there. Boricua Puerto Rican player. I think he'd be great with the Yankees if the Yankees go get him.
Also, now doing the Mets, I'm kind of feeling Sandy. I remember a long time ago. I want to say like a couple months ago, you brought him up. I specifically remember you bringing up Sandy Alcantara because you emphasized pronouncing his last name correctly.
Right.
And I love that. And I feel like even though he struggled massively this season, I feel like a guy like him, somebody that can pitch 7-8 innings if need be, I feel like that would be the perfect guy for the Mets to start games and be a good arm for us to contend in the playoffs and hopefully, push and make it far into it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I know people said, coming off Tommy John, he kind of had a rough start to this year. I remember when the Mets faced him, Marte, Lindor, Soto, they all talked about him. Like, they openly talked about, hey, if we had a guy like that, like, he's a game changer. He'd be a gamer here.
Yes.
I don't know what the price tag is going to be. Like, he actually has had some better outings. Like, when he just faced Atlanta, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts. And then even before that, he went 5 innings, 5 hits. Like, he's kind of come around a little bit. I don't know what the price tag would be on him. Are they still going to sell him as an ace? Are they still going to try and get, multiple prospects for him? Or has the cost come down? I still think there's going to be multiple suitors. And I think the thought is going to be any team that has a good pitching lab, like the Mets or Yankees, any team that's in contention can get the best out of this guy later in the season.
I agree. I feel like the Mets have nothing but prospects. We have Brandon Sproat, Nolan McLean. I mean, obviously there's a few names that shouldn't be mentioned, but then again, the thing about prospects that gets tricky is you really don't know how good they're going to be until they're at the show. And
and if you think that this is the year where you can get to the World Series, you got to punch it. You can't wait on what these prospects are going to be. You got to fortify your team for the run. And I think both the Mets and Yankees look at their teams as teams that should be there in October.
I'm right there with you. I agree 1,000%.
Thanks for the call, bro. 888-808-1019. Good stuff. I mean, we're getting closer to the trade deadline, and I think the needs are glaring. I think there's obvious needs. Love what Jazz brings energy-wise. Love what Jazz brings. He's like, he can't not be in the lineup. Like, him and Belly right now, if you look at their numbers, and Jazz with the homers, like, since Jazz has come back from the IL, he's one of their better hitters. In his last 15 games, he's batting .304. He's got 3 homers, 17 hits. Belly is another one today. I could see the energy in Belly. He had the right look about him today in pinstripes coming back home. In Belly's last 7 games, he's batting .400. He's got 12 hits, 1 homer, 3 ribbies. So I see you. I see you, Clay's kid. And I also see that, like, Jazz, man, a couple of times in Cincinnati, he kind of played the ball wrong. Even tonight, I mean, even in the ninth with Devin Williams, he knocked the ball down, picked it up, and fired it. It's like what we can have is errors and mistakes in the postseason where the fan base points at Jazz, who we need offensively, and we need his spark and his energy and his swag and all that, but we can't have him at third base and say, well, there were no options at the trade deadline, and DJ's been serviceable, and DJ's going to continue at second. Like, nah, we got to find a way to move Jazz back to second and put somebody at third base that plays the position. I was talking to one of the homies because I mentioned it last night, but I didn't go into detail about Oswaldo Cabrera and how much he is missed. When we talk about spark and flair, Waldo was playing third and getting a crack at it pretty much every other day, if not every day. And without him, you don't have him over there at third base consistently. You also don't have his clutch hitting, his base running, a guy that has a smile on his face, right? When the Yankees are going through this stretch that they just went through, he's a guy that's always grinning ear to ear and can kind of bring levity to situations. So, man, shout out to Oswaldo. I hope to run into him. I hope to see him soon. He's definitely missed if nobody's mentioning that. 888-808-1019. Hunter is in Brooklyn on the Fan. What's up, Hunter?
He's big fan. So that's such a nice, quick game tonight. In fact, we just pulled in the driveway. Jazz out there bobbling the ball and still making the play, hitting home runs. Yeah, a quick question. Gonna hang up because I want to hear your response. You heard Booney say that Sunday is Strowman Day, and I want a know, pick your brain. What's gonna happen when we see Strowman back on the mound? You're the best.
Thanks for the call, Hunter. Glad you guys got to enjoy the game. Like I said, tonight was a great night to just sit down and watch a quick game, not stress, not sweat much at all, and just be like, man, like that's why I'm like, I couldn't have gone to the game tonight. Because I would have had to get up out of there, and I would have been like, I might have had to hit Paulie like, Paulie, you're hosting tonight. Yeah, so with Strowman coming back on Sunday, these are my Mets. We're not talking about the Mets, bro. We'll get to it. I dare a Mets fan to call and chop it up with me about Ronnie Mauricio, Mark Vientos, Brett Beatty, Blade Tidwell, and the baby Mets. Anyway, Strowman, former Met Marcus Strowman, New Yorker Marcus Strowman, who posted on his Instagram that he was back in the city. I want him to do well. And I feel like doing well Sunday is just 5 innings, maybe 4 or 5 hits, 1 or 2 runs. That's probably asking a lot, though, because if you look at his numbers from Somerset, he was struggling. But I'm hoping for a Frankie Montas type beat to bring it back to the Mets. Frankie Montas was struggling with the Syracuse Mets, and then he comes and faces the big bad Braves. He goes 5 innings. I think only gave up 4 hits, had some strikeouts, gave up nothing. So why can't that be the case for Marcus Strowman against these Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas A's? 888-808-1019. Some familiar foes and familiar friends and former friends and faces. You know, as like Tommy Pham is going up against the Mets tonight. IKF over there. Who else? Brian Hayes, Charlie Hayes' son. Both teams faced a starting pitcher named Mitch. And then obviously here with the Athletics, they always have former Yankees. That's part of their DNA. They always have former Yankees. Mitch Spence, former Yankee farmhand, as they like to call it. And then you also see Gio the God, former 2019 next man up legend Gio Urshela. And you know they have Luis Severino coming up. And I think we'll see Sevy on Sunday. Do the Mets want to trade for Luis Severino? 888-808-1019. Yeah, it's going to be Severino versus Strowman on Sunday. So my hope, fingers crossed, is that the Yankees take the series tomorrow with Clark Schmidt on the mound. So there's no worries. And another former friend of ours, familiar foe, J.P. Sears, who was here, had a cup of coffee with the Yankees a couple years back. He'll face Clark Schmidt. And I think Clark Schmidt is primed to keep on rolling. Got an extra day's rest coming off the 103 pitches. But Clark has been going so well, I expect that to continue. So what do I think Strowman's going to do? I don't know. I think he's going to get hit, man. He doesn't have velocity. And you know, I just hope that they take the series, and I hope that he doesn't give up bombs, and I hope that the Yankees fight and they can get to Luis Severino. But take the series, and you're not really worried so much about that game. I want the Yankees to sweep, but, you know, Strowman's got to get work. Strowman's making $18 million. He's not going to get that 140 innings for his contract to vest next year. And what I said about Stroh, I remember one night I played his audio from February versus his audio from a couple weeks ago where his tune changed a bit, where he said he'd be willing to come out of the bullpen if need be, but he's a starter, and he's going to get the opportunity to start. Yarby is on the IL, and just the way that baseball works, man, you always need pitching. You always need like 10 starting pitchers or 10 guys to make a start during the season, straight up. So fingers crossed for the best. Maybe they just hit Severino. And if Strowman does enough and the bullpen is right, I mean, obviously we use the bullpen tonight. Let's see what Clark can do. Can Clark go another 7 innings? tomorrow? I don't know. We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Dan is in New Jersey next on The Fan. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how's it going, Keith?
Going well.
Dude, I mean, I gotta, like, I used to be Dan from Rockland County. Now I'm in Jersey, so I jumped the border.
But how you liking it on the other side?
I know. You know what? It's all right. My daughter's turning 6 in September, and we got a nice little neighborhood, and I can walk her to school every morning when it's nice out. So
that's great. So, you made the move to put her in a nice neighborhood, a nice school system, and I'm assuming you want her to grow up in that area.
I mean, I'm thinking, like, we spent a couple years in the Caribbean. Like, I would kind of rather it be there, but it's not in the cards right now. So, so here we are. It's a pretty good alternative.
Some parts of Jersey can feel like the Caribbean, so enjoy it.
I mean, it's almost the same thing, the fine line.
Yes, sir.
It's good to hear you, man. You've been my drive home for a long time, playing gigs when I used to do that, all the way back before COVID, man. So, cool to hear you go. And you got a little daughter or a son?
Son, yeah, he's a crazy one. He's 2 and about to be 2 in 3 months in July, and he's not a baby anymore. This guy fights me on everything. He talks. He knows what he wants. He's strong. He's big. I was calling him today. I was like, "You're a long body, bro. Look how long you are. You're like, can't even hold you the right way anymore."
Yeah, it happens fast, man. He's gonna be calling you soon and calling you out on some opinions.
Yeah, right now he's very basic. I've been imitating his voice on air. All he knows is, "Dad, I watch Yankee game. Dad, I wear Yankee logo. Yankees."
So good. I was thinking, like the Strowman thing and like the pitching staff for me and like the whole Soto thing this year. Like it's a fascinating Yankee team, but to think of like what would have been if we had Luis Gil and Garrett Cole on this team and had signed Fried and Goldschmidt, like the what if for this Yankee team this year is off the charts for me, and it's hard to get over. But I have no faith in Strowman, and I really don't understand why we're running LeMahieu out at second base and putting Chisholm at third every night. Like I don't get it. I'm torn, and I wanted LeMahieu to be good, and I love him as a ball player, but I don't see what we're doing, and I've been a kind of a rough component of Boone for years. I don't love the way he manages the team, and I'm just confused by what's going on right now. I don't see the logic in a lot of this stuff that's happening. What's your take on that?
I'll try my best to explain it, Dan. Thanks for the call. Be well in the Garden State with your family, and congrats to you for moving across the river. It's not so bad over there. I don't put it all on Boone. Boone doesn't make the roster. He doesn't, make the contracts. He doesn't get to pick the players that he coaches, manages. I keep leaning on the fact that DJ LeMahieu has been here for years. He is in the 5th year of a 6-year, $90 million deal. The Yankees are going to get whatever ROI they can get on that deal. And I think it's twofold. I think it's because of the relationships he has in the building, which I understand. And it's because they don't want to just send him packing and be paying him to go away. He's healthy this year, so he has been a little bit better than what we saw recently. Like, we can say that. Like, he is not a complete waste, batting 9th and playing second base. But and I know that the New York Yankees could do better. And I think that's what Dan is talking about, even with like a Marcus Strowman. Like, we should be able to do better. But it's a situation where they're kind of hamstrung because of what the contracts are. Right, you needed someone last year when you didn't get a Blake Snell, so you gave Strowman that contract. And now, like, for Strowman to be making $18 million from what we've seen, like, he got shut down in the second half of last year. They didn't need him in the postseason at all. The whole offseason was conversations around trading him, that he wasn't going to be here. And then when he did pitch, it was so short-lived and unsuccessful. most of us probably feel like, here we go again. This is not going to be great, but fingers crossed. Like I just said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I know this is a guy who has been in the league for 10 years and has a lot of pride and has a chip on his shoulder, and he's a New Yorker and he cares about being a Yankee. And I know he certainly cares about being on this team this year because this could be a World Series team again, and he wants to try to help and do his part. And I think the little bit of a shutdown kind of probably got his mind right, where now he's bought in to do what he can do, and I hope he performs. I don't expect him to be lights out. He can be serviceable, though. If Ryan Yarbrough was serviceable and great at times, if Will Warren has been serviceable and great at times, if we got some innings and games out of Carlos Carrasco, like why can't we get a little bit out of Strowman here until Yarby comes back or until they add at the deadline or whatever? So, yeah, it's money, man. It's money. The New York Yankees pay these guys. They're going to get a return on investment. These guys are on the roster. If they're healthy, they're going to play. Other guys are hurt. Whatever it is what it is. A guy like Jazz is, not the type of guy to push back and say, I'm a second baseman. This is a guy who has played center field, and he'll bump over the third base so DJ can play second, and that's where he'll be until they get another third baseman. But I think that they can get a third baseman at the deadline and get another right-handed bat in this lineup and really be cooking with gas and put DJ on the bench. And then also Heel comes back or Yarby comes back, and you don't have to get that many starts out of Strowman. 888-808-1019. We'll keep talking about the Yankees and all these different things. I will sprinkle in some things from Major League Baseball, some scores, some stories. Sonny Gray had a complete game. We actually got more info on the Ketel Marte story. I haven't said a word about Wander Franco yet. I don't know if I really will, but there's plenty to do. Keith McPherson on The Fan till 2 a.m. KM to AM returns right after this.
This week on The Fan, keep listening for your chance to score a pair to see Adam Sandler's You're My Best Friend tour coming to Madison Square Garden September 15th. Tickets are on sale now at
Brought to you by Live Nation, The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, yo.
So Donna, welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new
What's up in the chat?
We'll have to pay off your old phone.
I gotta send this out on Instagram and Twitter so we can get the chat active.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints.
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait, one sec. I got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No,
That's crazy.
even pay off your phone. $800. 24 months with no credits, new line, $100 plus a online experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99. Qualify plus tax and $10 connection charge.
Sick. I'm gonna read this on air.
It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Light by Yingling. It's 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only and 95
I was watching Frank the Tank tweak out.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Get great deals on capable specially tagged Kias like the Sportage, Sorrento, and Seltos. Let's go! Or the versatile Nero Hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or EV. All of our vehicles are backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So visit your local Kia dealer today. Kia. Movement that inspires. Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always by big sale and much purchase of specially tagged 2025 vehicles only. Event ends 7/7/25. See dealer for warranty details.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS has cards for kids. 1-877 cards for kids. Donate your card today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon.
All right, just working on some things, folks.
Accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on open plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coon.
Okay.
Well, many thanks.
Let me try and get some action on my Instagram to get some people to pull up. I got time today. Today I got time, cuz.
With the times, you're playing the lute. Yeah, it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing.
Today I got time, cuz.
Association.
I already been on for an hour. I didn't even post the link yet.
Training skills needed
Live,
to
streaming live,
business professionals.
on the fan in New York,
When it came to the
KM to 2 a.m. Pull up. Say something in the chat.
We're going to be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce.
We probably won't have another break. We'll go to 12, right?
Running thousands
I forgot to do a big shot.
a robust new
It's fine.
website and improved
I'll do it in the 12 o'clock hour. Or we could come back with it now. Yeah.
and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at eminet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Gain Super Planes are here to take your laundry to the next level. Super size laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Super clean. Gain Super Planes laundry packs have 4 times the oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain original liquids. Super fresh. Gain Super Planes for next level laundry.
My boy Hector throwing money in the chat.
Was your best friend?
Chilling.
Friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the Super
What's up, Nick? Yeah, we already cooked the Mets. I'll continue to throw my little jabs at the Mets. Let's go, Yankees. How about Will Warren, the will to Warren?
The scuttlebutt on your favorite teams here on the fan.
The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright Lights, Big City. You know, New York, we got a bunch of big shots. But tonight I'm pouring up a big shot for 2 guys, a double shot, one for young Will Warren. I mean, this guy has learned. He had a little bit of a shaky first inning, but he got out of it with 3 Ks, and then he settled in to give the Yankees 5 innings, throwing 100 pitches, striking out 7, only giving up 2 hits. Tip your cap to the bullpen. It goes how you scripted with the bullpen, Tim Hill, Cruz, Weaver to Williams. The Yankees get the win. And I got to just pour up the other double shot for Jazz. Smooth Jazz. Jazz has been great since coming back. Jazz is being a leader. Jazz broke the game open tonight with a second deck home run. And he homers for back-to-back days. And I liked his demeanor and what he had to say post-game about the team. And I think there was a stat. I got to pull the stat that they had with him and Eric Davis and Alfonso Soriano as far as the amount of home runs and steals that Jazz has now accumulated. Okay, here it is. Today is Jazz Chisholm's 500th career game. He has 89 career home runs and 109 career stolen bases. The only other players to match or exceed those totals in their first 500 games are Eric Davis and Alfonso Soriano. Big shot of the night, 888-808-1019, streaming live on YouTube. Search McPherson Brand on YouTube if you want to look at me and my nice Band the Wave shirt. I don't know why you guys love to do the wave. This is a Bald Vinny classic, this Band the Wave shirt. You guys had me sweating at home because I'm like, anytime they start doing the wave, bad things happen. We're cruising tonight. This game is going fast. 3-0 shutout. Y'all get bored out there and want to do the wave. All right, back to the phones we go. Again, the number to dial is 888-808-1019. Ryan is in Roxbury, New Jersey on the Fan. Go for it, Ryan.
Hey, how are you, buddy? I really just want to talk about the importance at the second half of the season of Jazz moving to second base. I think him moving to second base is really going to loosen up Volpe a little bit. Those two turn a quick double play, and I think that opens up a big, move the Yankees got to make at the deadline at third base. And I'm a big DJ fan. I am. I just think to make that push, I think a Suarez or Arenado deal needs to get made, and then you have Arenado, Volpe, and Jazz, and I just think that's a game changer infield right there, and I just think loosening up Volpe with Jazz's demeanor is just so important.
No, that's a great point and a great call, Ryan. Thanks for the call. I disagree about Nolan Arenado only because they're not going to get Nolan Arenado. If they do, I'll be wrong, but then everybody else reported on it for these last few months is wrong. But the point you made about Volpe, remember Jazz joking about in the Guardian series, like, me and Volpe are the best two-man because I think they homered back-to-back, and obviously they're turning double plays, and they worked together in the spring. They started this season as the shortstop, second base, middle infield combo, and then DJ comes back. We find a spot for him, and they bump Jazz over. DJ can't play third. I just think that it's smarter for the Yankees to put Jazz back at second. And I think they know that. They're not stupid. I think that they're going to try and get a third baseman in here. I don't know if it's going to be the names we've mentioned, like Ryan McMahon, Eugenio Suarez, Luis Rengifo, definitely not Nolan Arenado. But I think that they need a right-handed hitting third baseman to shore up this defense and help this lineup. And hey, yes, I don't know how big of a DJ LeMahieu fan you can be now, but I was as big of a DJ LeMahieu fan in 2019, 2020 as anybody else. I bought his jersey. I bought his player tee. I had his RotoWear tee, all of that. Why wouldn't you? He was getting MVP votes. Why wouldn't you? He was exactly what the Yankees needed in the lineup back then. He was automatic with runners in scoring position. That's why they called him the machine. Those days are gone, though. And we have a remnants of the machine. But, that can't be enough to start him every day if there is someone available to come here and play third when you have Jazz that can play second. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Aram in Queens. What's up, man? You're on.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you taking the call.
Thanks for making it.
Of course, man. Hey, look, I go to about 25, 30 games a year, and I could not agree more. This is not the point I wanted to make, but you made the point about the wave. I think the wave always comes at the absolute worst time in the game. It's when the reliever's trying to get focused. So that's always been a pet peeve of mine. I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, can we let the man pitch, please?
Fernando Cruz is on the mound, and I'm literally like, okay, tonight has been smooth. Tonight has been worry-free. Now they want to send the wave around the stadium, and Cruz about to walk some guys, and it ended up being fine.
It's distracting. No, it did. It's mostly distracting.
Completely distracting, and it's tourists, it's casuals, it's kids, it's drunks. We don't need it.
It's people who are not caring about the game. I'm sitting there and I'm biting my wrist trying to get the game back on track. The point I want to make, and it really does come down to Jazz and kind of what he brings to the team. It's like, we've all had our moments of ups and downs with this team, but my feeling is this. The reason I feel optimistic is because of a player just like Jazz. So we are a streaky team right now. When we come out of the gate the way we did in the beginning of the season and we're hot, this team can spark a match and actually make a run and win a World Series. That doesn't mean we don't have flaws. That doesn't mean there aren't elements of this team that need improvement. But you know what? When you have guys like Jazz who have that swag and have that momentum that he brings. I feel that I don't know if we are a perfect team from top to bottom, but I know that there is an ability for us to absolutely get hot come October and win a World Series because of guys exactly like Jazz. I'll finish off, I'll let you finish with me offline, man, but I really appreciate you letting me take the call, brother.
You got it. 888-808-1019. Exactly. Like, I expressed my frustration through this last week, 2 weeks, from losing the back-to-back Boston series to the Angels series, everything in between, because I do believe that this team can win the American League. I do feel like they have the talent. I feel like if they get there, all it takes is a good couple weeks in the World Series to be champions. And a guy like Jazz has come here and talked about being a champion. And as dialed in as I've seen him, like he seems pretty dialed in and locked in and focused right now. If he has that type of focus in the World Series and he's playing second base, that will bode well for us. And as far as the wave goes, every roll call, Mark finishes the roll call, or whoever does the roll call, whether it's me, whether it's Jaden, whether it's Patches, whoever. Shout out to Deshaun. If Deshaun comes back, Deshaun is coming back. We got to get Deshaun to do a roll call. But after every roll call, the fans in 203 are reminded politely, we do not do the wave. Don't do the wave. And there's a core of Section 203 that you will see not even flinch when that wave is going around. But more and more, I've noticed more casuals infiltrating the section that just, wee, put my hands in the air. It's coming this way. Let me get out of my seat. I don't know who Fernando Cruz is. It doesn't help the team. I don't know if the Yankees are listening, but how dope would it be if we had some type of PSA after the roll call to just flash on the big screen? We do not do the wave here. Take the wave to Shea. Take the wave to Shea. Take the wave to Shea. Let's go to Kyle and Booton on the fan. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, what's going on, Keith? Speaking of 203, I actually got to meet you there just by chance, and you took a selfie with me. And when I posted it later, we actually found out we have a mutual friend, which I won't bring up on the air just to.
Why not? Well, tell me where the friend is from, or if you don't want to say his name.
So I think he's friends. His ex-wife was friends with your wife. His name was Chris Jaron.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That's hilarious. But anyway, he hit me up. He's like, "Oh, you know Keith?" And I was like, "Whatever." But if you don't remember him, that's hilarious.
I don't know, man. I went to 2 universities. I've done so many things. Chris is such a common name. Chris Jaron. It doesn't ring a bell, but
he was a cop.
He was a cop. I know a lot of cops. Shout out to all the cops that listen to the show.
I can't remember his.
No, I don't know.
Anyway,
maybe my wife knows. I'll have to check with my wife tomorrow.
That's hilarious. But thank you. I wanted to talk about Strowman. You were bringing him up about coming back. And, I always get a little bit cold feet when he's on the mound. I get a little nervous. But not for the first 1 to 3 innings, really. He's actually pretty good. So, why can't we put him in a role like that where he's not.
And have Alan Winans ready to go? Did you see Alan Winans warming up in the first inning when Will Warren got into some trouble tonight?
Something like that. Exactly. That'd be a great role for him, in my opinion. Much more help than starting.
If they don't use Alan Winans tomorrow, I would look out for that. I would look at Alan Winans to maybe piggyback Strowman if he gets in trouble in the second, third inning.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. I just thought they should use him without being a starter, and even though they're paying him, like you said, $18 million.
I don't think they're married to anything with Marcus Strowman. I think they're going to see what they can get out of him. Clearly, last year they were paying him $18 million, and they shut him down for the second half of the year and said, "We're good, no mas." So
yeah, we're good.
Anything is on the table.
He's serviceable.
Yeah, he is, but it's he's got to hit his spots. He doesn't throw hard, but sometimes he can just leave a cookie over the plate that they're going to put over the short porch with ease.
It's really true. Yeah, he makes me nervous coming back.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
And tag me on Instagram with Chris, and I'll look at during the break at Instagram. I have no idea. Maybe I know him if I see his face. Tag me and tag his account so we can kind of clear that up. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. I don't know. I've forgotten so many. Like, I ran into a couple people at Fanatics Fest from like high school and college where I'm just like, I'm blanking. I'm like, am I that cooked? Am I that burnt? I'm like, no, what it is now, like I meet so many people now. I forgot about like people that I might have, I don't know, party with in high school or college. And like, I'm old now, man. And like through the exposure of WFAN and social media, it's changed how I meet people. I was in a restaurant with my wife on Valentine's Day, and shout out to the guy, he might be listening now. This guy sat next to me for probably 30 minutes until he finished his dinner, and he got up and he's like, I just want to shake your hand, man. I heard your voice. I knew exactly who you were, a big fan. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you. So like my voice, I like will trigger people. And then even like at the stadium now, it's completely changed this last few seasons going to the stadium. I meet a lot of fans at the stadium, not my fans, Yankee fans. And I'm walking around the stadium the same as I ever was. But now I'm taking selfies in the bleachers or Billy's or whatever. And I kind of feel bad because like, I promise you every single person I meet, I shake their hand and I try to ask their name and have a human interaction, like to make it like, you know, some people pull up and they have their phone out. Some people pull up geeking up and I'm, hey, what's your name, man? Nice to meet you, Kyle or Chris or whatever the name is. But yeah, I don't know. Can't remember everybody. But shout out to the people that, I don't know, recognize me and remember me. I appreciate it. I'm blessed. Let's go to Odd Day in the Bronx on the fan next. What you thinking about?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
I just wanted to give you your flowers. I started tuning in to the station during the Subway Series, the first one, and you got me pumped. You know, I was like, you were really pumped about us taking the series, and
I'm like that, bro. I'm gonna get y'all pumped for this upcoming one too, because the way I am, as we get closer to the Subway Series, I turn my Mets haterade up. I start to lean into the rivalry.
Hey man, they turned it up all the way for us too. So you got to give it how they got to be able to
return serve.
Absolutely,
got to remind them sometimes. I don't hate the Mets. These are my Mets.
Yeah, I mean, we was beat up over the off season with Soto and everything, but that win definitely like boosted our confidence about that, quote unquote plan.
Oh yeah, it was. I was there, bro. That Friday night was everything. Like in the series, taking the series.
Yeah.
If they take this next one to Citi Field, if we take, that's what I'm saying. The Mets better figure out something in this next week. We're a week away from that. Hello.
I was there on Saturday. With my Mets homie, and he got the win. It is
Saturday. I was there too. That game was whack. The Yankees won that game, and there was a couple plays on the base path, whatever. If the Yankees go to Citi Field, I don't know who's going to be pitching, but the Yankees are about to get right after they just went through the 7-9 stretch in the 16 games in 16 days. Who is going to be pitching? Frankie Montas? Blade Tidwell?
I have no idea, man.
Let me actually look. I could probably line it up, and it's a week away. I can figure it out.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you because this Marcus Strowman update just kind of has me laughing. Like I literally laugh out loud when I hear that he's being called up. No disrespect because I know he's a professional, but like in AA, didn't he just get banged up? And now he's playing for us, and we're in a bad stretch already. What are your thoughts? Are you nervous about this on Sunday, or like that's kind of what I wanted to call about? Like
I'm not
I don't know
nervous.
how to feel about this.
Fingers crossed. They're not gonna let him pitch 6 innings and give up 8 runs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to see what happens tomorrow. Take the series tomorrow with Clark on the mound, and then you don't really worry as much about what Strowman does. It's a spot start, essentially. Like I said, Yarby is down. Heel is working his way back. How many starts is Strowman going to get here? Strowman might get like 2 or 3 starts and go in the bullpen. In his last 7 games with the Somerset Patriots, he's got an 11.57 ERA in 3 games.
Oh my goodness.
He's given up 12 hits, 12 runs. Not great. But like it's also his mentality too, because he's a different kind of thinker. He's a different kind of cat. He might be down there just working on his off-speed stuff. He might be down there just trying to locate his fastball, and if they hit it, they hit it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I keep using the example of Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas might have had the worst rehab ever. He might have had the worst collection of rehab starts ever, especially for a guy making $17 million and before he makes his debut. And then he debuts against the Braves, and he's pretty solid.
That's baseball.
That is baseball. It doesn't make any sense. So, fingers crossed. What do we know?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, bro. 888-808-1019. Yeah, Subway Series coming up. And the Mets will dodge Max Fried since Fried pitched yesterday. During the break, I'll line this up. I'm sure somebody at home is already like, here's the matchup, Keith. If so, tweet it at me. Or let me see. I'm in the live. Somebody in the chat might already cook that up. I'm going to hit the chat like, yo, what's the Subway Series pitching matchup gonna be? Send 888-808-1019. Bobby is in Morris Plains on the Fan next. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, Keith. Thanks for taking the call. I wanted to talk about the Mets. So lately, Alonso's been struggling. Soto and Nimmo, I guess you could say, are the only ones that have really been hitting. I was kind of thinking this could be a hot take, that maybe you want to move up the young guys in the order, kind of like Beatty, Mauricio. I know Alvarez is in AAA, but when you think about Alvarez's 25 home run season, he was batting top of the order. He was in the 2-hole or the 5-hole. I just think Mendoza is getting a little too stagnant with the lineup with McNeil 5th. I think if you move McNeil to the 8th spot, it kind of lengthens the lineup. So I think it would be a good idea if you kind of move the young guys up, try to get them in the 5 or the 2-hole. I know Nimmo's been good in the 2-hole, but I think it would be better if you give the young guys more at bats and kind of lengthen the lineup so they have more experience going into the playoffs.
I don't know, and I know PT, our positive Tommy came up with this like zone lineup, and as I'm watching Pete Alonso just roll his eyes in his face, I'm like, you can't. You have some of the best hitters in baseball. You want them to face whoever they're facing first. You want them to have the most at bats. You don't want to put these guys like Sanger, Mauricio, Beatty, Vientos any higher in the lineup, because that's going to be a string of outs that you might go through innings, scoreless innings, because that's where you got to have your best hitters, which Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, McNeil, those are all professional hitters, man. And you got to hope, because it's baseball, that any day, like tomorrow they come out and they flip it. Tomorrow they come out and they hit 12. They have 12 hits. They score 9 runs. Like, I don't think Mendoza, the type of manager he is not about to get cute. At least he was able to move Soto out of the 2 spot, right? But I don't think he's about to get cute with these baby Mets and move these young guys up. They got to be in the bottom of the order, and they got to hit. They got to produce. You have one of the best top 4-5s in baseball. Those guys are batting champs, all-stars, feared hitters, and you have some balance there. I don't see them changing the lineup.
I totally agree, Keith, but if I can just add in one more thing. What do you think about Alvarez and his development? Because this guy was a top 5 prospect in all of baseball. He was at the top of the order in 2023. I know that wasn't a good season for them, but I really think he should be batting 5th or 6th. I think when you put him in the 8 or 9, that puts a lot of pressure on him to do some damage, and there's not really much damage to be done there. So I think he should be batting in the middle of the order rather than 8 or 9.
Yeah, when he comes back, maybe. But man, he was looking bad. Thanks for the call, Bobby. 888-808-1019. When he comes back, he's not here right now. Like, you're getting at bats from Hayden Sanger. You'll get Luis Torrens. But like, there's nothing to figure out. The Mets lineup is pretty simple to pencil in. Like, I think we're reaching and searching for some answers here. They have to hit. They have to hit with runners in scoring position together. And it's not going to change by putting your weaker hitters at the top of the order. You don't do that. Where they do that at? Nowhere. Doesn't make any sense.
Nowhere. And you're right. And listen, the Mets might be starting the same swoon that the Yankees just went through, losing the first 2 in Cincinnati, where you shouldn't have lost, this, that, the other thing. But I think the offense will figure it out. The pitching is what's concerning to me, and all the injuries. That is the concerning part, because it felt like David Peterson unlocked something. It felt like Griffin Canning unlocked something, and now
Kodai Senga's ERA was nothing.
Right, and now Peterson has 2 or 3 rough back-to-back starts. Canning with the Achilles injury, and I don't know how many times the pitching lab can get lucky. Right? Like, you can bring in Keith McPherson off the street, and maybe Keith McPherson on the Mets will pitch well, but I don't know how many more Keith McPhersons the Mets can get
And
in.
how many starts can you get out of Keith McPherson? Maybe one or two good ones, and then the book is out.
Right.
Like, this is professional baseball. They have people watching every pitch. They're studying these guys, and they're getting a beat on you. Griffin Canning, it's like he kind of turned back into Griffin Canning, but we were waiting for that. Like,
right.
He was great, but eventually we were waiting for him to look like Angels Griffin Canning. It's not like he has a whole kitchen sink to throw at you. It's not like he's overpowering anybody. So.
And that injury was awful. He took one step off the mound.
I was on here last night watching it live, and I didn't know what happened. I'm like, did he get hit by the ball? I just saw he was down. And then when they showed it, I'm like, how is this happening to everybody? And even in baseball, it never happens in baseball, it seems. Achilles, pop. Calf injuries, maybe if he felt anything in his calf muscle, boom, Achilles, he's done. And where you feel for the guy is he took a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Mets, and he was making it happen with the Mets, where either they would have brought him back next year on a multi-year deal, or he could have signed anywhere in baseball and actually cashed out.
Or he gets like the Severino treatment after last year with the Mets.
As
Severino
I say that's on the screen now, he's done. It's going to take him, he's not going to be ready to go.
I would think, I think Mendy said before the game, he said they're looking at maybe 9 or 10 months, which is awful. It's such a brutal injury.
Impacts your spring training into next season. That's tough. Because he was literally pitching himself into relevance. He was making a name for himself in New York, where look at Severino. Severino went and got paid by the A's. The A's don't pay anybody, but he had one bounce back season with the Mets and pitched well. And the A's are like, cool, we can use a guy like that. Yeah, we'll pay him. We'll see him on Sunday against Marcus Strowman. 888-808-1019. Still taking your Yankee calls. We'll mix in obviously conversation around the Mets and what needs to happen with them. And we're a week away from the Subway Series. So let me do the quick matchup for who's going to be the pitchers for the Mets and the Yankees in Citi Field July 4th weekend. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll say good morning on the other side. Don't go anywhere because I'm coming right back.
Some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now.
Every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss
Okay.
patio. Save up to 20% on select
Mets need to stop being cheap with starting pitchers and sign 2 top-notch pitchers. Pro sports is what have you done for me lately business. You can coast off. Yeah, that's true. It always comes around. Yeah. Yo, is this correct? Subway Series Rodon and Fried throw Saturday and Sunday. Friday has no one yet. Because the way it would line up, let's see. Subway Series Friday Because you count 5 days, right? And there's no off days in between. So
Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from ITSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is
Fried just pitched.
They're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on my plan.
Fried just pitched the last game in Cincinnati. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He would pitch on the 1st. Fried pitches July 1st against Blue Jays. So then Fried would be in line to pitch on the 6th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fried would pitch that Sunday against the Mets.
Yo, give me a minute. I put the wrong paper.
Rodon, July 5th. And Alan, we don't know Friday because Alan Winans, Strowman.
It's an extension of who you are. Hey, it's Mike Tandarella, General Manager, Paramus Chevrolet. Because everyone has unique tastes, we stock a large variety of certified pre-owned automobiles. So you're sure to find something you absolutely love. And it gets better. Enjoy our exclusive.
Yeah, so it'll be TBD, Rodon, Fried for Yankees versus Mets. And then for the Mets, it'll be, you know what? It's hard to predict too, because they're in flux right now. Like Griffin Canning pitched yesterday. It'll be Blade Tidwell. They're saying Blade Tidwell is going to pitch against the Brewers.
Nobody beats a Town Fair tire deal, and I mean nobody.
David Peterson pitched today.
Middays 10 to 2. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York.
Yeah, Tidwell threw 3 in the 3rd set. Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Pirates dominate the Mets 9-1, putting to bed their mini 2-game win streak. David Peterson torched 5 runs, 7 hits, and just 4 2/3. He came in after Peterson.
Right. But they're saying he's going to make a start against Milwaukee coming up.
I got chat now. Meanwhile, the offense consisted of just a Juan Soto solo shot. He went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position to the Mets, left 8 men on. Also, before the game, it was Griffin Canning undergoing surgery for the ruptured Achilles. He's obviously done for the year. Will Warren seems to be enjoying pitching against the A's. 5 innings, a 2-hit ball, 7 Ks. Made it 12 1/3 innings, a 1-run ball against the A's this season. That and a 3-0 victory. He did walk 4, including 3 in the first, but able to work out of a bases-loaded jam.
Get back in the zone. He's got the confidence that he's got stuff that he can get right out of that, and he can get swinging.
Jazz Chisholm went deep. Cody Bellinger, DJ LeMahieu each knocked in a run. Bombers also announced Marcus Strowman's going to return. He'll make the start on Sunday. Islanders, they picked defenseman Matthew Schaefer, number 1 overall pick. Also sent Noah Dobson to Montreal for 2 first-rounders, along with Emil Heineman. 66 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's happening. I'm Marco Belletti. I assume that's the next turn for Canning, and they just gave him a little work today because it's only a day.
Right. No, I didn't. Peterson got rocked. Good morning, good morning.
Saturday, June 28th. Keith McPherson on the fan, 888-808-1019. We are in the chat, in my live chat, trying to figure out who is going to pitch in the Subway Series. But it's so complicated now because Alan Winans made a start against the Reds, but Strowman is going to start Sunday. And then with the Mets, Griffin Canning is out, but they announced Blade Tidwell, who pitched yesterday after Peterson. Blade Tidwell is going to make a start against the. I don't. We're trying to figure, but mostly Yankee fans in my chat, they're figuring that we will see Fried, because Fried's going to pitch against the Blue Jays next, and we will see Fried in the Subway Series. Yes. And then Rodon, I think, as well, because we go Rodon, Fried. We're working on it. We're working on it. I didn't have a long enough break to actually work on it. But you know, it's also TBD. They can make decisions to change things. And like I said, right now it's in flux. Blade Tidwell, and I just talked to Marco about it. I'm like, he said, did Blade Tidwell pitch today to get some work? You know, a day after Griffin Canning goes down because he's going to take his spot. But Blade Tidwell was in the rotation and made a start before Griffin Canning. I don't know, man. When is Manaea coming back? I wouldn't bring Manaea back this week. I don't think he could be back this week anyway against the Yankees. I think we might see Clay Holmes. I think actually no. Clay Holmes is in. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I have some other things to get to. 888-808-1019. We started off talking about the Mets. The Mets got rolled by the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not what you want. This is supposed to be a series where you take 2 out of 3 minimum. And it bodes well for you to take the first game out of 3, to take 2 out of 3. David Peterson did not have it. Some small ball, a walk, single. Juan Soto not knowing where to line up in the field. Juan Soto not knowing how to break on the ball. Takes 2 steps in. Next thing you know, the ball's over his head. It's 2-0. It's 4-0. And the Mets never recovered. But, you know, Juan Soto heard some overrated chants. I saw J-Mac Customs tweeted out, overrated chants breakout in PNC. Juan Soto on cue hits his major league leading 11th home run in the month of June. 1 homer will be a career best in any calendar month. And I also saw on the wrap on MLB.com that Juan Soto's 1259 June OPS is the 3rd best mark during a calendar month in Mets history. The month is not over yet. Yankee fans feeling good about the Yankees having a day off. I think we all got a mental health day to reset, take a break, not have to stress over baseball. And we didn't have to stress watching this game tonight. It was over so fast, and it went pretty much how you draw it up. Sure, could we nitpick and say, well, they were 2 for 9 with runners on in scoring position. They left 7 on base. Yeah, but ultimately they give up nada. Ultimately, Will Warren battles through the will to Warren, and after having 36 pitches in the first inning, he's able to go 5. He throws 100 pitches, strikes out 7, gives up nothing. 2 hits, 4 walks, but gives up nothing. And out of those 4 walks, those 3 walks were in the first inning. Very impressed with Will Warren. This young man has grown up so fast. He has been vital to the Yankees' success. And through this last recent stretch, if you go back to what he did against the Dodgers, he's been pretty good since then. And then it's how Boone draws it up. Tim Hill to Fernando Cruz to Luke Weaver. Devin Williams gets the save. Back to the phone we go. Chris is in Pennsylvania on the fan. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
Holding it down, man. Trying to talk to everybody, host the show, and get through some things.
Love to hear it. The deadline coming up. I'm wondering, what is a realistic move you could see the Yanks making? And do you think it's with the pitcher or with somebody in the field?
Yeah, I always say you got to give to get. And when I think back to deadlines past, like, Jordan Montgomery being chucked for a Harrison Bader, like maybe something like that is coming. We also have so many guys trying to play so little positions. We're platooning at like 3 different spots. So I think they're going to have to give somebody up. Also, yesterday we saw Spencer Jones come up and hit a home run, his first at bat with the Rail Riders, where I'm like, is this trade bait? Are they getting him ready? Are they kind of showing him to Major League Baseball? Like, here he is. Who wants him? I think they're going to start with pitching, because that's what I heard Cashman say. So maybe a starter, but I think bullpen depth. But everybody's looking for bullpen depth. Ultimately, though, Yankee fans right now are screaming, we need a third baseman. We're watching Jazz on the hot corner. He's athletic enough to play the position, but he is not playing it well enough. His position is second base. They got to get a third baseman to move Jazz back to second base and then put DJ LeMahieu on the bench. And that's fine. I mean, I don't know what they're exactly going to do, but they need to get an actual third baseman, and preferably a right-handed hitting third baseman, maybe a starter, and definitely some bullpen help. Your thoughts?
I agree. I don't want to put you on blast on the air, but I heard my name came up from a certain Kyle. You don't remember me, man?
Chris Jaron. So let's figure this out. Did you meet me in college? You know your girl or ex-girl knew my
Like
wife.
I said, man, I don't want to put you on blast over the air. It's your show. I'll respect it, but all I'm going to say is go Hawks, baby. Go Hawks.
We went to Monmouth University together. You graduated from Monmouth University?
Yes, sir. Back there in 2006.
I don't remember, man. You're not putting me on blast. I don't remember, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call. It was good to hear from you.
Thanks.
Reach out to me on Instagram, though.
Yeah, Kyle just DM'd me and he said you don't have Instagram, so.
All right. Well,
DM me from your anonymous account and send a flick so I can be like, oh, I remember. Thanks for the call, Chris. I don't know. Like I said, I went to 2 universities and like I spent a lot of time at practice, a lot of time at study hall, a lot of time in the weight room, a lot of time in the dining hall. I've seen everybody. And I also was faded, bro. So, like, there's a good chance you probably saw me. I was faded, bro. Like, if 9 times out of 10 you saw me at a party, they're like blacked out. Don't remember that. John is in Garden City on the Fan. What's up, John?
Keith, good talking to you again. I see you around the stadium sometimes. I'm in 121B right in the front. You're always walking by, saying hello to the people.
Yeah. WFAN seats are right over there. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so here's what I'm thinking. First of all, I sent you something in the chat, but basically we would have had our third baseman, Josh, one of the Joshes from Texas, Josh Smith. We gave up for that scrub Joey Gallo a couple of years ago. We would have had a guy, but anyway, look, the new Cashman who doesn't spend money, who's got a ceiling, who's got his own personal apron, like if you're talking basketball, he's going to find some bargain basement relievers, maybe some swing and miss arms. I see him making a big move for third base. I mean, I'd love to see the Yankees also do what some of the other teams do with the young players. And look, I don't think DJ's going to make the whole season. The history is he gets hurt. I don't wish it on him. I love the guy for years past. But, I mean, maybe towards the end of the year, I'd love to see the Yankees bring up Lombard or one of these young guys, especially Lombard. And maybe you find lightning in a bottle. You got a young kid with energy. I know when Stanton was doing his rehab, he loved the guy. Something like that from internally for third base. Also, by the way, Ben Rice can catch. He caught a shutout today. Maybe they flip Iscara to another team for an arm or for because you said there's not enough at bats going around. Let Ben Rice be the backup catcher. He gets a couple of days a week there. He plays a little first base. And this way, that's one less, bottleneck position. Because Iscara really, he's fine, but he's not adding, a lot on the offensive side. If Ben Rice can catch a shutout, he can catch, he's doing okay.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
No, absolutely. And JC Iscara, great story, Uber driver, substitute teacher, great clubhouse guy, hitter. He's very expendable now. Thanks for the call, John. 888-808-1019. JC Iscara, I said they didn't even put him on paternity leave. Yankees won't place JC Iscara on the paternity list. They expect him back Sunday. Is he going to catch Strowman? I don't know. Yeah, because you figure, right? Wells tomorrow, because the night game, day game. Wells not going to catch back-to-back games. And then, depending on who's pitching, Severino is a right-handed pitcher. So you're going to want Rice in. Rice won't be in the lineup tomorrow versus JP Sears, the left-handed hitter or left-handed pitcher. Also, I don't know. I'm not sleeping on Cash. Stack the deck, Cashman. If this team goes back to the World Series and is short, nah, bro. I'm not going for it. Stack the deck. Go get a third baseman, a right-handed hitting third baseman. Y'all want IKF back? No more second tours. And I really don't think that they're going to give up anything to bring IKF back. You're not going to give up a prospect. No. But they need something. They cannot say, no, we're good. We got DJ LeMahieu at home. And arms-wise, if all the arms stay healthy, I think they're fine. But, you don't want to be fine. You want to be better than fine. You need insurance. You always need pitching. Pitching. You need pitching. If they don't get another starter, I'm fine with that because I think what we're seeing from just the starters that we have right now and Luis Gil coming back, whatever he's going to be, we'll be fine. with starting pitching. But you need some weapons out of the bullpen, and like it can't be Mark Leiter Jr., who they got at the trade deadline last year. Remington is in Manhattan. Remington is back on the fan.
Keith McPherson after midnight. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Nathan Eovaldi. What will it take the Yankees to acquire Mr. Eovaldi? I was thinking maybe Spencer Jones or whomever. What do you think?
Yeah,
I'll hang
I
up
don't
now.
know.
I'll listen to you, Chris.
Thanks for the call, Rem. The Rangers are going to try and hold us up. We were just talking about the Rangers with the getting Duran and Smith and in the Joey Gallo trade. They're gonna want a couple people for Nate Eovaldi, who's up there in age, and it would be a second tour. I'd be down for that second tour. But yeah, when the Yankees traded for Joey Gallo, what a waste. And we all thought that Joey Gallo was going to come here and hit bombs. Oh, short poor Joey Gallo. He couldn't do anything. Gave up Josh Smith, who could be playing third base right now. Ezekiel Duran, who played second base, probably could play third base too. That's what happens. That's how the cookie crumbles. Oswaldo is hurt. Peraza can't hit. And as far as George Lombard Jr., they're not calling George Lombard Jr. up. Maybe you see George Lombard Jr. go to AAA, and follow Spencer Jones. They're not calling him up. I don't even think they're calling Spencer Jones up. Some of y'all are talking about that. I don't see why they would do that. I think that they're showcasing him though, and so far very good. First at bat, he hits a home run, and that's going to make its rounds. Everybody's going to see that, but I don't expect. There's no room for him. There's no room for Dominguez. I already said that tonight. The lineup comes out, and all you guys, oh, where's Dominguez? Oh, here we go. Typical Yankees. Dominguez had 4 hits, and they sit him down. Yeah, they've been doing that all year. They don't believe in hot, like Clint Frazier said. 888-808-1019. Let's talk to Ryan, Stony Point.
Keith, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you were saying a little before about Jazz, and I love Jazz. I think he's a serviceable third baseman. He's not for now. Would it be crazy for them to maybe go after Matt Chapman? I get it, he's a little old. Maybe he could hold over at third base for now. What do you think about that?
No, it's not crazy. And I think I forget who it was, and I'm sure he's listening, because the nighttime shows have gotten a call from a guy who was suggesting Matt Chapman for the last 2 weeks, and saying that in San Francisco there are some murmurs about a Spencer Jones or a Dominguez trade for Matt Chapman. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Jones, maybe Devers plays more third base. I know he was saying, I'll play wherever. Maybe throw him at third. Spencer Jones, he's big. He can learn to play first base, and we sneak out with Chapman.
Nah, we're trying to go to the World Series and win it, and not throw up all over ourselves the way we did in the 5th inning of last year. They got to tighten this thing up.
Got a good point there.
Yeah, they got to tighten this thing up. We won't be able to survive that. Could you imagine if they cut corners or they say this is good, DJ at second base and Jazz at third, and Jazz makes an error in the World Series, or DJ's going to his left and crumbles, and the Tin Man just falls and can't make a play, and a run scores. No, we can't have it.
I agree with you, man. It needs to be patched up. It needs to be patched up now.
Yeah, now. I mean, we got about a month until the trade deadline. Don't wait, because the longer you wait, the less options there are out there, and the more other teams are going to make moves. And I'm sure somebody's going to trade for an infielder, a utility guy, somebody that can play third base.
And why wait? What's the point?
Why wait? Because
get him in the pitch.
The longer, exactly. The longer you wait, the longer you continue to roll DJ out there at second, and then we watch Jazz kind of get 8 up at third, and the ball playing him. And just in this week, there's at least 4 times where I'm like, Jazz at third, he's athletic enough and he's got a strong enough arm to make the plays, but he's not a natural third baseman. He's just athletic enough.
Not a natural third baseman.
Yeah, he's just athletic enough that he makes it look easy, but he also it's a hard position to play if you don't have the reps for years.
Exactly. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Maybe pick up a guy like Chapman. He can play the position.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Sure. And I mean, if the Giants want to do that, then they're gonna want probably one of Dominguez or Spencer Jones. Thanks for the call, Ryan. But I honestly, I don't know. Even looking tonight, If you go to my Twitter, I posted the picture with Spencer Jones. Shout out to the Somerset Patriots. I'll be back out there August 2nd for a celebration of the Negro League's Black Yankees night. And when I was there, they put me in the dugout. They introduced me to George Lombard, and they introduced me to Spencer Jones. I got to rap with these guys, and I'm like, bro, Spencer Jones is all of 6'7". He's a monster, and he looks like a pro ball player. I kind of want to see him. I kind of want to see him in the future, like Whit Judge. That's who they're, patterning. Is it patenting his game after? That's who they're trying. Like his stance is a little different, but like they're trying to kind of bring him up in the mold of a left-handed Aaron Judge. So I don't know, man. We'll see, because that's where the calls start. The calls start with Cashman. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Good. So Spencer Jones, and we're in Spencer Jones off limits. George Lombard Jr. George Lombard Jr. is off limits. All right, we'll call you back in a couple hours. We're gonna see who else is willing to part with their top prospects. And if you remember last year, I said this a few times. Like when you could just Google Yankees top prospects. Cashman didn't give up anybody in the top 10. George Lombard is 1. Spencer Jones is 2. I don't expect him to move on from either one of those guys. 888-808-1019. This has like this whole thing, man. Shout out to Kyle, shout out to Chris, and shout out to everybody in the chat talking about it now. Like this whole thing with like me not remembering. And I went to college mad long ago, yo. Went to college mad long ago. I have now been sent 2 pictures of Chris, and I faintly remember him. He looks like a guy that I feel like I've seen before, but like, can I call any memories or moments? I don't know. And like it's funny because they're like, yo, we don't want to put you on blast. You can put me on blast. I'm not on blast. Like a lot of people know who I am listening and know what I look like. They don't know who you guys are. Oh, now Kyle's sending me some info. I'm just burnt, man. I'm just completely fried. I'm just cooked, bro. I don't remember. And I think that's hilarious. Yo, the same thing happened to me in Barclays Center years ago. There's this kid, Jack, and my boy Ronnie. He was friends with my boy Ronnie's brother. And when he pulled up on me, I was with Capper and Carino, and I thought he was pulling up as a fan, like wanted to say what's up and take a picture. And he was like, "You don't remember me?" I'm like, "Nah, bro." What'd you say? I know you from? From where? We got to play that Big Pun song when we come back. Like, I don't. You know how many things are on my mind, bro? I got to live a whole life for a 2-year-old boy. I got to think about when my son's got to eat, when he's got to pee, when he's got to poop, what he's got to wear. I'm already thinking about it. I'm already thinking about going home tonight, going to sleep, because he's going to get up at 7 like, ah! All right, back to the show. But this has become a hilarious sidebar. Monmouth University, where leaders look forward. That used to be the tagline. The tagline at Monmouth University, it used to be Monmouth University, where leaders look forward. And everywhere they would write that on like folders or pamphlets or things, I would write, Monmouth University, where leaders look forward to leaving. Like that's the type of student I was, where leaders look forward to leaving and forgetting everyone that they ever knew here. I don't remember. I was a different human being back then. That was another lifetime. I do not recall.
Single?
David out on Long Island live on the Fan in New York. It's Saturday morning.
Yo, what up, Keith? It's Dave from Long Island.
I
Yo,
know.
first time calling. I just want to say I'm a big fan. I've been listening like recently. But I just want to say I was at the game tonight with my family, my wife,
Nice.
Lisa, my 2 girls.
Awesome.
And dude, we had such a great time. I'm glad that we won. And I just wanted to know, bro, when are you gonna go with your kid, bro?
He's banned, but I got to bring him back. Sunday was on the table. I just don't want to. I know I'm not gonna have fun with him there.
You know what, bro? Like I will say it's hard, but you know what? Like that's why I brought my girls,
because I know it's something hopefully they're gonna remember forever, man.
Yeah, he's blacked out right now. He's too little to remember anything. He doesn't remember anything that's going on right now. But I know I gotta bring him though, because he literally sees me with the hat on and he points, he goes, Yankee logo. I'm like, yup, you're right, Jack. Yankee logo. Like but he doesn't even know he's banned. That's the thing. He was so bad the second game of the season that Saturday against the Brewers. I'm watching, I'm like, bro, they're gonna break the home run record. They're gonna score 21 runs. I look back at him and he's untying somebody's shoes. I look back at him, he's eating popcorn off the floor. I look back, he's just running around like, bro. I'm like, my wife is looking at me like, you get him.
Yo, you know what I'm gonna say, bro? Like, we see the 300s and they have that little park there.
Yeah, I took him there. That place is a madhouse, though. If you're not the first one in there, those kids will run you over in there.
It's true. You got to pay attention, man. Listen, bro, big fan, and I'm gonna say also, man, I copped the year T-shirt.
Nice.
I wore it tonight, man. Yo, big fan, man. You're mad cool, bro.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the call, David. 888-808-1019. McPhersonBrand.com. That merch is moving. They wearing their shirts. I got the Ball Vinny Ban the Wave shirt on the stream right now. I had a call today with somebody about merch, man. Merch is the way. And like everybody is making merch. If you're not making merch, what are you doing? Back to the conversation though. Yeah, like fireworks night tonight. And it's summertime. This is the time you bring your kids and your family to the game. It's expensive. Military Appreciation Day, where you get a free camo shirt tomorrow. I think I'm going to skip this weekend, though. Honestly, I feel like I need to skip this weekend for my own sanity. Like, I was tweaking watching the Yankees the last couple of weeks, where I was questioning life, and I was questioning, like, why do I care so much? I'll never grow out of this. Like, I'm completely programmed, and, like, I can't even pretend like I don't care. I get so mad. But next month, after the 4th, right, there's a whole stretch of the Mariners series, and then that Cubs series is going to be great. And then that's another thing. I've got people who also have kids, friends of mine who have kids. Like, my boy Zeke, he's got 3 little boys. They're diehard Yankee fans. The other night I told you how, like, he put his boys to bed. They're thinking that they're winning the World Series Game 5 because they're up 5-0 when they go to bed. I did not envy his position. I can't imagine having to tell once your kid gets old enough and they go to sleep, like, hey, you got to go to bed. You got to go to bed. They're up 5-0. And then the next morning, you got to wake up and explain to them that we lost, the season's over. And then they got to go to school. Oh, what a fight. What a crying tear fest that is. That's what the Yankees put us through. So if any of the Yankees are listening, anybody in the front office, Cashman, them, hey, don't do that to us this year. Make the moves at the deadline. Get us some players. Stack the deck. Shore this thing up. So whoever comes out of the National League, may it be the Dodgers, who I just saw now. The Dodgers have the best record in baseball. Yep, the Dodgers have taken over sole possession of the best record in MLB for the first time since May 12th. They keeping on through injuries. You know why? Because they stack the deck. They have nothing but talent. They don't stop adding talent. Yeah, the Dodgers beat the Royals tonight, and the Royals were going back and forth with them. That game, I had it on big inning. Bobby Witt Jr. homered. They beat the Royals barely 5-4. Sonny Gray tonight. Man, Sonny Gray tonight said, tell the bullpen they can have the night off. Sonny Gray with a complete game, 1 hitter, 11 Ks. Ooh, how come he couldn't do that for the Yankees? Remember that? Remember the whole fire Larry, hashtag fire Larry. It was all Larry Rothschild's fault. Larry Rothschild had some old pitching book that he would go to and try and get Sonny Gray to pitch how he wanted him to pitch, and it did not work. Can we? You guys want Nolan Arenado? Let's call St. Louis and see if we can get Sonny Gray. Woo! Nah, he's not interested in coming back. That chapter is closed. That chapter is absolutely closed. Yeah, there's some more stories coming out in Major League Baseball. Oh, quickly here. We'll do this before we go to the break. So the other night I was going in on the Ketel Marte thing, right? And it just popped back in my head because, people are showing him love, and they absolutely should. He's back in Arizona. The Diamondbacks fans gave Ketel Marte a loud ovation in his return to Chase Field. And you love to see that. It warms your heart because this guy was in tears, absolutely, in shambles on the field because of something that someone said. But through investigation and internet being the internet and finding out who this guy is and what was said, and Ketel Marte did an interview,
in the interview, he said what he heard. And what he heard was that the guy said, I sent your mom a text last night. So I think what happened here was just a coincidence. I think that this is a young guy that has no idea really who Ketel Marte is as far as his story and his mom passing away in a car accident. But what it did, man, it hit Ketel Marte in the heart because one, and I told you guys, like, if you've never been to the south side of Chicago, if you're sitting in that lower bowl, you're like right on the field. Everybody can hear everything. And if you're a good heckler, which they have a few of them, like the players can hear you. But it hit Ketel Marte right in the middle of his heart because he said when his mom did die, when that all happened, he was in Chicago. So it was like this like weird thing. And what he felt, he probably at the time he doesn't know. Some baseball fans or diehard baseball fans that do actually know all these ins and outs of these guys' lives. He doesn't know where it's coming from. He might think, hey, this guy researched me or this guy knows my life story. And like, that's what he's trying to get at me about. But I think it was, and even the kid's face, the kid was laughing and kind of looking like, what? Yeah, it was like a mom joke. And the words were, I sent your mom a text last night. And that broke him. That broke him. And now that fan is banned from all 30 ballparks, which I feel like maybe that's just for this season. I don't think that should be for life. I think that this was just a situation where the kid was trying to be funny, and people make jokes about people's moms all the time. And in this situation, it happened to be in the city that when that tragedy happened to Ketel Marte, him losing his mom in an accident, it pulled at his heart, man. It broke him. And that's tough. But good on the White Sox, supporting him, showing him love, and he goes back to Chase Field, and the Diamondbacks community shows him a lot of love too. 888-808-1019. We'll get into some more stories around Major League Baseball. We'll continue the conversation around the Mets and the Yankees, what they need to do at the trade deadline. We'll look into the games coming up later today as the Mets drop the first one in the series, 9-1 to the Buccos out in P-Town. And the Yankees cruise to a 3-0 shutout of the Athletics, and they'll look to take the series tomorrow against J.P. Sears, with Clark Schmidt getting back on the mound a week after he went 7, giving up nada. And yeah, they should take the series before we get whatever we're going to get out of Marcus Strowman on Sunday. Keith McPherson on the Fan, dial 888-808-1019. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Work, life, and imploding bullpens. We get it. And we got you. New York. No filter. The Fan. 1019 FM and always live on the Frequency app.
Okay, so I don't think the mic was set up right. Hey, bro, we're trying to get to the bottom of this. They're sending me pictures of bro. They're explaining like who homie is. I don't. Money, not you again. You know, you got to come back with if you go to my beat folder, you got it. Big Pun, it's so hard. Money, not you again. Go that way. He said, nah, he's Courtney wasn't anyway, all good. Courtney. Mike. I don't know who Courtney is either.
Visit EiserBay.com. That's EiserBay.com. Paid for by Estellas Pharma.
Hey, Connecticut, if you want name brand tires at the guarantee services, then get to Town Fair Tire.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit
If you look in my beat folder, Big Pun. Yeah, it should be in my rejoin folder. Big Pun, it's so hard. Let's see. Hold on.
These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Join us on June 7th
thousands will walk and run in Verona Park for the Valerie Fund Walk and 5K, presented by Sue and Ed Goldstein and JAG Physical Therapy. Together, we hope to raise over $1 million to provide the most comprehensive health care for over 6,000 children treated each year for cancer and blood disorders at the 8 Valerie Fund Children's Centers throughout New Jersey, New York, and Metro Philadelphia. Go to thevaleriefund.org/walk to register or donate.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. It's fast and easy online. $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1.
Hey, yo. I hope it's not really a ban. I hope it's more like something they're doing for internet. Mets did crap the Bears, and they don't. The Bears. The Mets did crap the bed, Jay Beers, and they don't want to talk about it. Yeah, we're about to play it on the rejoin. Like, yo, I know Joe. Joe and I go way back to high school. I could pick Joe out of a lineup. I could pick Joe out of a crowd. I don't know some of these cats. Ben, what up, bro? That's facts, Joe. When the deadline passes and they're like, Jazz is our third baseman, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, bro. And like, I don't mean no disrespect. What I'm saying to y'all is like, you like the amount of people you meet once you're on the radio. I've been on the radio 4 years, like across platforms. You know how many people see my face and name that don't even follow me, don't even judge my followers. Like, I'm not even tooting my own horn. What I'm saying is like, I meet people all the time that walk up on me knowing who I am. I don't know you, bro. And if we're talking like, you might remember me from college, bro. Like, you know how many randoms were like, I don't know, bro. And like, I have a very distinct look, voice. I always kind of was different, bro. Like, I stood out. So I feel bad, but I also just like, it is what it is, but I don't remember it. That's like, I graduated college in 2011, bro. So I don't remember, bro. I don't remember, bro. I kind of root for some people to forget who I am. All right, here we go. Let me turn the actual volume up, though.
What you say your name was again? I know you from where? Elementary school? I don't know you, man. Money, not you again. Go that way. Nah, for real, though. I don't remember anything from elementary school. I don't remember anything from middle school. My middle school was called intermediate school. I barely remember stuff from high school. I'm washed, bro. I'm washed. I don't remember. But it made for good radio. It made for a good conversation in the chat. And I don't know, maybe you could relate. Maybe you could relate. Buddy was still DMing me. I'm sure they're still listening to the show. No disrespect. You can blame me. Honestly, yo, I lived a wild life. I lived like 8 different wild lives. This is a wild life for me. I'm sure when you met me, whenever you met me, if I would have told you then, I'd be on WFAN Friday night into Saturday morning, June 28th, 2025. You've been like, are you cooked right now, bro? What are you talking about? Keith McPherson on the Fan. Friday night, man. It's just time to laugh and have a good time and go into the weekend. Soon to be a holiday weekend. Not stressing about our baseball teams, not stressing about life, enjoying the summer. Dial 888-808-1019 if you want to continue to talk about the Yankees, about the Mets. Like I said, I will bring in some more conversation around Major League Baseball as we can look at the standings and the scores and see where we are the Orioles absolutely smacked the Tampa Bay Rays. But really what it was is they put 11 on them between the 7th and the 8th inning. And I appreciate it. Orioles backing the Tampa Bay Rays off us. There was a lot of runs scored tonight. The Nationals put up 13, and the Angels scored 9. The Diamondbacks right now, with me mentioning Ketel Marte getting that ovation, they're down 9-5 to the Marlins in their building. The Reds stay hot. They put up 8 on the Padres. They beat the Padres 8-1. Already told you about Sonny Gray. Complete game, 1 hitter. Cardinals beat the Guardians 5-0. The Blue Jays put up 9 on the Dead Sox. How about that too? Doesn't that kind of piss you off, Yankee fans? That's part of it. That's why I was so mad. You gave the Red Sox life. They traded away Rafael Devers. They suck again. They're nothing now. We couldn't beat them. We beat them that first Friday, 3 weeks ago, and then they had every other game. Anyway, to wrap this up, and all of the runs scored, the Phillies beat the Braves 13-3. No, 13-0. Blanked the Braves. Twins over the Tigers 4-1. Giants over the White Sox 3-1. In 12 innings, the Mariners put 7 up on the Rangers, beat them 7-6. The Brewers scored 10 on the Rockies, beat them 10-6. The Astros, with Kyle Tucker coming back home, beat the Cubs 7-4. And last but not least, the Dodgers beat the Royals 5-4. And let's get back to the phones and your calls. Here's a good one. There's a lot of chatter coming about what we're about to talk about next. I'll take the call and then I'll elaborate more after I hear what Joey in Hoboken has to say. What's up, Joey? You're on the Fan.
Hey, Keith, what's up? I was going to switch it up, get away from baseball and go to the New York Football Giants. Of course,
Absolutely.
So after the 36-year-old Russell Wilson craps the bed, are you going with the young gun in Jackson Dart or the crabby interception throwing Jameis Winston?
I'm going with Tommy Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets take 3. Tommy DeVito.
Whoa. Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, I like the thing.
He only beat the Packers in
I like the pinch in hands.
No, I don't. He's going to get cut, no?
Yeah, he'll probably end up getting cut. I'll say this. They are hyping Jackson Dart where, it's going to get loud. This is New York, and fans are ready for it, where if they're losing, if Russell Wilson is hurt, they're going to want to see the kid. They're going to see what he can do. And I think they need to slow play this. They got to develop this kid. And we're hearing good things about him. We're hearing how much progress he just made through this first, rookie camp and mini camp. So I don't know. I think he is the future. He's the guy. You traded back into the first round to get him. We've been talking about the Giants and this regime for so long. When are they going to draft a quarterback? When are they going to draft a quarterback? Here he is, but you don't want to mess him up. Russell Wilson, if he's healthy, you play him as long as you can play him as long as he's healthy and producing. And then Jameis Winston's got to be the insurance for a Russell Wilson injury. There's got to be patience. You got to hope that the defense is better. And that was the formula when Daboll first got here. The defense was good enough for them to steal games. And they had a run game. Forget about the quarterback. Talk about the rookie running back. I want to see Cam Scatterbo. I want to see what this kid is as a complement to Tyrone Tracy. I want to see what their running backs look like. The quarterback can wait. That's the sexy position. That's the glamour position. Now you've got this beautiful blonde quarterback, Jackson Dart. What a name for a quarterback in New York. But don't rush it because you want this guy to be the guy. And you could screw him up his rookie year, throwing him in there, getting him sacked, getting him hit, or having him throw picks, or just there's no rush to have this happen too soon to appease fans. That's why they did this. That's why they went and got 2 veteran quarterbacks, because they should not feel like they're in any type of urgency or rush to put this kid in.
I agree with you, but what happens if he starts year 2, right? Under Daboll, and they have a 5-win season. Are you drafting Arch Manning if you're the number 1 overall pick, or are you going somewhere else? Or you going with Jackson Dart in the 3rd year?
You know how much like Doctor Strange can't even conjure up how many different universes and scenarios have to happen for Jackson Dart to start for the Giants in 2026. Lose enough games for the Giants to be able to draft Archie Manning. I know the Manning name is just a name that Giants fans are in love with, and I understand why. But your quarterback, you have your quarterback. The Archie Manning dream is done. And somebody else is going to draft him. Somebody else is going to probably draft him number 1. If he is what they say he is, if he balls out like he's supposed to ball out, and I think he's got 2 more years, no?
I agree. I think if he doesn't win a national championship with Texas this year, I easily think he stays next year for his senior year and tries to win Natty with Texas.
Yeah, if he's not a Heisman Trophy finalist and in the college football playoff, I think he's going to play his next 2 years. He's a freshman. I think he's going into his sophomore year, so he'd have his sophomore junior year before he'd even be. He's been there for a long time, and he's talked about wanting to be the guy there. So no, I just think we gotta get the Arch Manning dream completely out of the minds of Giants fans, because Jackson Dart is your drafted quarterback. You gave up what you gave up to get him, and you got to pour everything into him to make sure that he pans out, to make sure that he's the actual quarterback of the future. And there's no rush.
I agree. I just think they didn't give up much for him. They only gave up a 2nd round or a 3rd round pick. So it's like,
yeah,
you also work out in year 2.
You also gave up 10 games in a row. You also went through all this losing to be in position to do that. I mean, him and Abdul Carter. You can't screw this up, because you screw this up, you're firing the coach and the GM, and then you're back to the drawing board with the young quarterback that signed a 4-year deal. No, these guys, they have to get some wins this year, and they have to be competitive this year. That defense got to steal some games this year, and Jackson Dart's got to learn the NFL. It's so much to learn. He's just got to learn the week-to-week process. He's got to travel as an NFL player. You know what I'm saying? He's got to learn that type of stuff before we're talking about throwing him out there with NFL defenses. You also know what division you play in?
Probably the best division in football.
You also know the strength of schedule you have. It'd be best to guard him. Keep him in bubble wrap. Keep him safe. Keep him away from this first season.
I would say don't even try to play him this year, just because of the strength of schedule, and then throw him in 2nd year, just full at it and see what happens.
Preseason. You'll get a good look at him in the preseason. Joe, thanks for the call. We're going to talk plenty of football once we get to this time in July. We've got a month, and I'm telling you, it's going to be football mania. You're juggling work and receivers that can't catch a cold. Listening to the fan. You know what I'm talking about? 888-808-1019. Moose is in Jamaica. Moose, you're on the fan.
Here, Chief, what it do?
Here.
So getting back to when you were getting back from the break, yes, thank goodness we can have some more breathing space away from Tampa. And as I expected, the Yankees would snap out of this funk the last week of June going into the All-Star break. But the damage is done. We played weaker competition. And what happened, Keith?
I mean, they went on the road, and if you ask me, and I mean,
as you always say, I was hoping you would say this. As you always say, we played down to our competition. The Yankees played down to that.
Played down to their competition, played stupid games, won stupid prizes, and I really just felt like they were feeling themselves a little bit. They let their guard down a little bit, and they got.
So all we can do is just pick up the pieces, and the schedule, I don't know if it necessarily gets more competitive. I think besides the Mets, there may be 1 to 2 other series against teams against 500, which we actually, besides the Mets, have the best record against teams against 500. The Yankees are 2nd, so that's going for us, if that means anything. But that being said, we should rebound. And that first series coming off the All-Star break, the rest, the accolades for Judge and our other All-Stars, does that motivate us? Do we sink or do we swim or do we coast or we do just float?
I think they just had their humble pie. They had their fill of it. I think they had their reality check. I think they're locked in. They're going to play well against better competition coming up here. And then they'll have the All-Star break. A few of them will be there. And I think they'll be ready to roll. I don't think we'll see another bad stretch like we did, even in the dog days, even as it's going to be hot. I think this was the reality check. This was the rock bottom. And it's like, hey, enough is enough. You guys got enough talent to get it done this year. Think about what you're doing and play better.
Indeed. Stanton coming back and then Heel should solidify things along with Marcus Stroman because Yarbrough is currently down. But I want to quickly comment to the Mets fans. I feel bad for you guys. I shouldn't as a Yankee fan because that's how the rules.
Why? Why do you feel bad for the Mets fan?
Griffin Canning, former first-round pick, all this promise, had a stinker of a career, goes into the Mets pitching lab, has a career year, probably leads the league or near the top of the league in quality starts, and also gives you 5 to 8 Ks a game, like just absolutely dealing, goes down and he signed a 1-year deal. I think Griffin Canning's injury yesterday played into today's game. The mood was probably, yeah.
And also David Peterson not being David Peterson, thanks for the call, Moose, the version of David Peterson that you've been getting. Listen, like this might be the worst loss of the year. I think I said, let me go back to my notes and see some of the Met stuff I prepped. But I know I don't have to talk to the Met fan. The Met fan is about to wait for Pete Hoffman. Or the Met fan was hoping that like Gallo was on or Al Cintron or something. Hey, fine by me. But, I had a couple things in the notes. Mike Puma said, considering the opponent, this is a candidate for worst all-around performance of the season by the Mets. So you do feel bad for the Met fan. 9-1, a 33-win team. You go out to P-Town, and they're wearing those bright jerseys that say PGH on them. You're supposed to go out there and step right up and beat the Bucks. And they stepped up in the second inning and put a 4 spot up. And all you got was a measly Juan Soto homer. And now you got to bounce back. But, like, your rotation is in shambles, which was the strength of the team. Paul Blackburn going tomorrow with his 6.62 ERA, 0-2 record. Like, I mean, maybe, I don't know what to expect. Sometimes the Buccos can pitch, though. Like, Mitch Keller did his thing. They got Bailey Falter going. Like, I know when the Yankees went out there, they pitched against the Yankees. I was like, Andrew Heaney, Mike Burrows. So it's not a guarantee. Don't judge teams by their records. The Yankees just tried to do that. Like, it's baseball, and it's June baseball, and teams step up, and they see the Mets, and they understand they got a high payroll. They got the richest owner in the sport. They got the highest paid player in the sport. Here comes the generational Juan Soto into our building. And the Pirates, like, some of their players don't want to be there. O'Neal Cruz doesn't want to be there. Some of their fans don't want to be there. They want them to sell the team. They want them to sell the damn team. The Pirates took down the Roberto Clemente sign to put up a Surfside ad. Their fans hate them. They had a viral video of a fan fighting somebody that worked at the stadium. But yeah, anyway, the Mets, they don't hit. Vientos comes back, and you're looking for Vientos to be an addition to that lineup that can be effective. They get 6 hits. Tonight, they go 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They leave 8 on base. So sure, we can say that, they're hurt by losing Griffin Canning, but it's all of it. They're hurt by losing Griffin Canning, Kodai Senga, Tyler McGill, and kind of turning back into a pumpkin here where it's like, yo, I don't know how many times I told y'all, like, all that money is great. Juan Soto is great. You still got to overcome your own jersey, your own history, your own Metsiness. I know it's tough to hear. I know you don't like to hear it coming from me. It's facts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was saying that. I'm like, all that's, you can add a dance crew. You can add a mascot race. You can move on from OMG. Oh my. You can move on from Grimace. You can do all, like, it's baseball. When Frank the Tank start going, you need to start listening to Frank the Tank. When Frank be right a lot. Frank was right. Frank tried to warn you. I told y'all. The injuries are coming. The Mets not about to win. No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They got the money. They got the smarts. They've got the talent. This is baseball. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Montas, he's back. Manaea, he's coming back. Blade Tidwell's, he's throwing hard, man. He's throwing hard. We still got to figure out who's pitching in the Subway Series. I think from our calculations in the chat, Fried will go on Sunday, Rodon on Saturday. I don't know for the Mets, though. We can't really figure it out. That's why I think I kind of stopped. We can't figure it out because, like, if Strowman pitches Sunday, right, Strowman would be in line to pitch, and with the off days, too. If Strowman pitches Sunday the 29th, then, like I said, yeah, they won't have Strowman pitch in his former home, Toronto. Strowman would be in line to pitch Friday the 4th. But does Strowman, do they do that? They're not locked into that. If Strowman pitches this Sunday, 5 days later would be Friday the 4th to open that series. So for the Yankees, they would pitch Marcus Strowman, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then with the Mets, we have no idea. With guys dropping, you're going to have to figure some stuff out. We're all figuring. 1 hour to go. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. Some Mets fans call up, man. I don't bite. I don't bite. I know I'm not your favorite. I know I'm not positive, Tommy. I'll never be Salicata. You know what? Evan Roberts has scored so many more games than me. I've scored 0. Evan Roberts has scored thousands. I'll never be those guys. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back.
It's BT and Sal. Middays 10 to
and the more active they will be. I'm looking to be proactive from a Mets perspective, not reactive. I think they've got a lot of holes that I didn't anticipate being this big, and I'm not waiting 2, 3, 4 days before.
I didn't go to the game because I knew if I went to the game, my mental, my attitude, my vibe and my mental is good for tonight. You feel me? Like, if I would have went to the game, I would have been mad that I was here. I would have wanted to hang with the creatures. I would have wanted to see the fireworks. I would have wanted to drink. I would have wanted to go to Billy's. I would have wanted to stay. I'll be off on Fridays. We don't do a lot of Friday streams because Friday I swap out and I do Sunday, but not this week. Not this week.
At 1-800 Law Line, we will be able to advise you of your rights. The sooner we get started on investigating what happened, the better. There are many reasons to act quickly.
They threw out the first pitch yesterday. Bring that up. We'll talk about it.
There is no cost for a consultation and no fee unless there's a recovery. We are here to help you.
So if you're injured in an accident, call the experienced personal injury attorneys at Zalman, Schnurman, and Minor at 1-800 Law Line. That number again, 1-800 Law Line.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier. It's no abroad, one is where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard.
Imagine a gentleman's club with over 200 gorgeous exotic dancers every week.
Hey, big boy.
From the people who
I'm talking to Paul, who was producing the show, and he's still talking about these dudes who said they knew me or whatever, or we had a friend in common. It started off with Kyle, who met me in the bleachers, and then I guess he posted my picture on Instagram, and then he had a friend who was like, "Oh, I know that guy." And when he brought the name up to me, I'm like, I don't remember him. But now Paulie is like, "What did they mean blow up your spot?" There probably was like a girl involved, and I'm like, I don't know. They said that this girl was friends with my girl, who is now my wife. Like, I met my wife in college. But Paulie thinks that maybe there's a girl that I hooked up with. That's why they didn't want to blow up my spot and say, like, "Yo, we know you because you used to hook up with this girl." I don't know. I don't know, man. You know what's funny? Like, I had this thought the other day. I've been with my wife. It's my anniversary today. I proposed 6 years ago. I've been with my wife for mad long. I met my wife in college 16 years ago. And I had this thought recently because, like, I love my wife. I love my son. I love my situation. I don't I don't cheat on my wife. I don't even think about like going out to like talk to girls. I could easily pull, but I always could pull. And like, I think about the girls that I couldn't pull that like were out of my league in their heads, or like gave me the run around, or girls I used to like stress over, like, damn, this girl is fine. Like, I want this girl, whatever. And then like you forget about them. I don't even remember most of them. It's just like you're young and you're caught up, and like everybody is like on the chase and the hunt, and like, yo, it becomes such a thing when you're young of like these like crushes and like these people that you want to hook up with or date, or this like, and then you grow up and you don't remember any of that. You forget all about it. You forget about, like, there are chicks that I see on my Facebook from, I went to 2 colleges too, where I see these girls and they're either huge now or like they look completely different. And I'm like, I unfriend them because a lot of them have different last names. I'm like, I don't know these girls at all, but I guess I knew them at some point, yo. Word, like, married man here that can pull as well. Like, yo, it's just levels to this, bro. Like I'm a married man by choice, and like even back all those years, I think that's part of it too. Like, I never struggled in that department. So those dudes talking, they brought up a girl named Courtney. I don't know. I like, if I let's have an exercise real quick. Let me type Courtney into my phone. Oh, I almost clicked on her and called her. I'm gonna cover. So I just searched Courtney in my phone. There are 2 Courtneys saved in my phone. Could have been one of them. I don't know. I've had the same number since I was 13. You're now rocking with the best. KM to AM on the Fan in New York this early morning, Saturday, June 28th. Shout out to you wherever you are, whether you're just tuning in now, 2 minutes after 1, or if you started watching or listening, rather, they're watching on the stream. If you're listening and you started listening at, I don't know, 10:30 when we started, just about. We talked about the Yankees win, the Mets loss, some injuries in between, some stories in between, and in between that, we had some laughs. Went back to college, had a call from Kyle, who met me in the bleachers, and he had a friend in common from college. We talked about Marte. We talked about how many runs were scored in baseball last night into today. And
We talk trade deadline, and we'll continue to talk all around those things. Wide open for calls. I've cleared my calls. 888-808-1019. With the Mets, and yes, I'm going to continue to talk about Mets issues, injuries, things. I feel like the Mets right now are searching for something. I was in here last night, and there were these two guys in like alien costumes gyrating, dancing mad hard. And they were like, they were featured on SNY. They were on the big screen. And then I get home and I'm on Instagram, and CBS Sports posted them on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, is this becoming a thing? Let me see what they even wrote. These fans in alien costumes put on a show. They were just hyped to be there. And Fanatics comments give these fans the grimace treatment. And I commented, nah, don't do that at all. Let grimace go. Why do we got to find another grimace? Why do we got to find another thing? Pete Kennedy is producing the show tonight, Met fan. What's the name of your podcast? Don't you talk Mets on the podcast?
I do. Which one? I got the one with Al and Gallo, T.O. Al and Friends. And I got my own Subway Sports Talk.
Subway Sports Talk. I think I followed that one.
Appreciate the shout, man.
What were you saying was the thing that the Met fans were trying to grasp onto from the game yesterday that they won?
The Hardy Boys, Mets, they were 1-0 undefeated. It only lasted a day.
Oh, man. The Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys throw out the first pitch. And, yeah, it didn't, I mean, I don't know. It could last when they come back. Delete and Nerd. Is that their names? I'm looking at the pictures. Is it Nerd or Nero? I don't know. I'm not a wrestling guy.
Oh, the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
They have their, I don't even know.
Delete, because on the back of their jerseys, let me zoom in. It says delete on one. I can read that. This one is either Nerd or Nero. I think it's Nerd.
It's got to be Nerd. It's got delete Nerds. That sounds a little Hardy Boys adjacent right there. I mean, leave it to the Mets fans, which I am one, to just take any opportunity to say, hey, we have a new era. You know, what's the opposite of like, if it helps you sleep at night? I think for Mets fans, it's what helps you stay awake in the day. And that's like trying to find a new trend. The Mets are basically the TikTok of baseball. That whatever trend hits, roll with it.
The Make It Happen Mets. Jose Reyes jumps on the pregame, postgame show. First time he's on in a nice suit. The Mets lose 9-1, worst loss of the season. We'll continue on with the Mets. Let's get back to the phones, though. People are calling to talk Mets now, and I got a bunch of more things to throw in there. This whole pride thing, this whole pride flag thing, they're not letting that die either. I tweeted out today after the Mets game went final, what happened here? Just to see. Twitter is a space where you troll, you are facetious, you ask rhetorical questions, and you just see what you're going to get back. And I got two responses that, the Mets put up the pride flag instead of the American flag. And since then, let's see, somebody I think told me what the record is. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been good. Whatever you believe. Whatever you believe. There are baseball gods. There are superstitions. There is mojo. If you believed in Grimace, if you believed in the playoff pumpkin, if you believed in all that last year, you might believe. I don't know. I'll say this, happy Pride Month as the month is ending, and respect to all of that, and respect to the Mets. As I was scrolling Instagram the other night, this Instagram popped up where this dude was like, yo, when Steve Cohen and his wife personally invite you to the suite for Pride Night, you go. And I started watching the video until he said, can I name any of the Mets players? No. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, don't tell us that. Like, you're getting wined and dined at Citi Field for Pride Night. Leave out that you can't name one of the players, bro. Like, because some of us would love an experience like that. Not me. I'm good. I don't care about going. I don't need to be in the Cadillac Club. I don't need to be in the Clover Club. I don't even go over there. The only time I go over there is when it's Subway Series, and every time I drive out there, I regret it. But there's some Met fans that they're never going to see the suites. And you're talking about getting personally invited to the suite. Anyway, man, it's this whole thing. Yep, someone wrote Pride logo. They wrote exactly, let's see, they said the Pirates scored 9 runs and the Mets scored 1. They said, Keith, they replaced the American flag with the pride flag during the national anthem. Since then, they're 2-12. Ross is in Bergen County on the Fan. What's up, Ross?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of you put me in a hard spot to follow up on with the pride and everything. I saw the thing
fan.
like
You're a Met fan. Tell us how you feel.
well, I mean, just overall, like the whole thing, like the superstitions, all that. I was gonna come on and say, talking about you went down like the whole this last rabbit hole you're talking about with the flag on the screen and everything. I was gonna try to go down the WWE route. Last time before the Hardy Boys, they had a WWE wrestler on the mound. Tiffany Stratton was the game before the Tampa game from hell, the infamous 6th inning with Paul Blackburn. So, you know, having these wrestlers on the mound, we'll see what how the Hardy Boys. I guess now we kind of saw you followed up with a loss, but the last one they had before that, she ignited like a 7-game losing streak. And obviously the whole thing with the flag and then the Prime Month, everything. I don't know if you saw the guy. They showed the guy twerking on the big screen. I mean, I'm not trying to get canceled, so I'll leave it at that. But
we're not going to get canceled.
I'll leave it at that.
We're not going to get canceled. We can talk about these things. Somebody has to talk about these things.
Oh, my God.
Somebody tagged me in that video. I think John from Masbeth actually posted it.
You know, I gotta talk to you on Twitter about. I gotta talk to you on Twitter about that. But
yeah, he's wilding. Actually, he's wilding with the Wander Franco stuff. He's wilding.
I'll tell you this: Jerry Recco last year, when June was actually like the rare non-June swoon. I remember there was like a whole soundbite, everything, and say, you know, instead of they said the game Mets and they left it at the gum Mets. And the whole thing when they were winning. There was a whole thing online. You kind of added in the mix of Grimace and all that, but that didn't really get a lot of traction. Obviously, now they're losing. It's kind of like a full circle thing. But regardless, you know, aside from like all the mascots, gimmicks, all that, I saw you even posted the sign, you know, this year's OMG thing, with the La Familia or whatever. Who even started that? Was that Marte?
So I think Soto homered, and then it popped up, and Marte flashed it. Shout out to J Mac Customs. I got to meet him at Fanatics Fest. And he straight up told me, he's like, yeah, I trolled you on Twitter, and he posted me, and people were hating on him, like, no, don't support Keith. And then I went to his page. I had him muted. I unmuted him. I followed him. I'm like, listen, it's all love, man. We're New Yorkers. We're baseball fans. You listen to the fan. Like, in real life, like, there's no issue.
You always say Twitter's not a real place, and that Twitter/X, all the badge and everything.
Exactly.
You know me. I've been one of. And I feel like there's certain any team, but specifically Mets Twitter, being I'm on that more than anything. I feel like there's like certain Met Twitter disciples that if they say anything, like everyone else in the fan base will have to do it. So like certain people, Met you fanatics, that saying, oh, all in all, it may be one thing on the radio, but in person he's a completely different dude. And then all of a sudden Met fans like unblock, follow, and all that. I was like, I've been on the Keith bandwagon fan since day one, bandwagon train since day one. But I don't even see. But you know what? And now I'm completely getting in the weeds. But I'll say this: I don't even think you're a Met troll. I think you're being honest half the time, and 90% of the fan base just denies the truth.
It's the
you know what I mean? If anything, I tell you how many times
they don't like it coming from me, bro. They don't want to hear me talk about the Mets because I'm a Yankee boy. They don't want me to say like, no matter how much money you have. No matter how smart David Stearns is, it's going to take a lot to overcome your own history, your own bad luck, your own jersey you're wearing.
You unintentionally just did the Joe Beningo bit. You could change the ballpark, the logo, the team name, everything to that, but you're going to have the same old Mets. I don't even think you realized you did it. You did it word for word, bar for bar.
I've heard Joe say that a
ton. In a couple hours. Oh, my God. Well, he's the OG with it. But it's a joke that not only the ETS teams, but legit at this point, every team in the city fits that bill. It used to be just the Mets, Jets, and the ETS. They got a name or something, but I'll just call them the ETS teams. It used to be those three. Now it's everybody, man. And you're talking about some of these cities you're seeing, like, I mean, you go down the list. Teams like OKC now off the board. We are I think the third longest drought in terms of every city with a team in each sport. It's Minnesota and Detroit are the only cities with longer droughts. I mean, it's a joke at this point. Really quick to sum this all up. Talk about any momentum we gained off the 2 wins with Atlanta. I called you up, said, if they could build off this as bad as the drought was, to finish those final 4 games at Atlanta as a 2-2 sweep and winning the last 2 went completely down the tubes. And honestly, we talk so much about Atlanta being a hellhole, San Francisco kind of being upon the, some of the stadiums, like everything just crumbles the second we step foot in them. PNC is right up there. What was it, I think it was 2021, the year with the Taiwan Walker, Louis Rojas game. They got ejected like the first inning on the bunt. You remember that? I think they played the Pirates at City before the All-Star break came out of it in Pittsburgh, and they lost like 5 of the 7 games or something. I mean, PNC is one of those underrated ballparks that derails everything. And tonight was Exhibit A. I mean, they were out of it in the first inning. David Peterson, but now it's kind of 2 starts in a row. The same time you kind of say, he's sustainable for about a 2-3 month sample size, but this is 2 crap starts in a row. And one of what you thought was one of your most reliable, if not your most reliable arm for the past year and a half, all of a sudden now back into question. And the game was over in the second inning, aside from the meeting with Soto homers. So I don't know, man. It just seems like for whatever reason, Pittsburgh's on that list of teams that always have our number, and it showed its true colors tonight. Really quick, man, are you going to be at the ball at Yankee tomorrow?
I don't think so. My boy, shout out to Alex Day. Happy birthday, Alex Day. He's having a party out there. I think I'm just going to stay home and be a family, man. Thanks for the call, Ross. 888-808-1019. I'm going to be tired, bro. Like it's tough to turn around, do the show, turn around and go back to Yankee Stadium. But yeah, speaking of stadiums, PNC Park is one of the best stadiums in baseball. It's always weird out there, though. Like it being on the river, there's some wind effect. Like I think the key Brian Hayes ball that he hit, he thought he was going to fly out and that ball carried. Shout out to Chris at CJM884 on Twitter who replied to my tweet. He said, PNC is one of those parks that they just don't play well in. It's similar to playing in Milwaukee. Like there's just some kind of mojo or some type of thing when the Mets go out there. And I said, yeah, there's some wind out there off the river. He says, I don't know what it is with that park, but they just seem to not have good games there. They got blown out there last year, 14-2. Also, a couple of years, Taiwan Walker kicked the ball that was fair into foul ground that scored 2 runs. Diaz gave up a grand slam once in the 9th there. LOL, weird stuff. And I believe in all that stuff with the baseball gods, with certain ballparks, with certain teams. It is, shout out to my boy Young God Jeff listening. Young God Jeff, I know he knows his wrestling. He goes, Keith, it's Nero, Jeff Hardy. I don't know. I'm not a wrestling guy. It's brother Nero. Copy. I said nerd. It looked like a D. It didn't look like an O. 888-808-1019. The Mets need to work on their offense right now. Is got to pick it up. It's shaky. One solo shot from Juan Soto, which Juan Soto's been good for a solo shot here every couple games, but like if your pitching is in shambles, if your pitching is not what it was, this vaunted lineup with all of these talented hitters have to pick it up. Anthony's in Bayonne on the Fan next. What's up, Anthony? You got it.
Hey, Keith, long-time listener, first-time caller. I got a couple things I want to talk about tonight. I heard that egregious take from Tommy Lugauer about the zone offense with the 1-4-7-9, which I think is absolutely outrageous. But let me put my little take on this. What if we went 9 Lindor, 8 Nimmo, 7 Soto, 6 Alonso? I'm just trying to, mess it up a little bit because listen, in the last 10 we're 2-8. How many more games can we drop? We're a couple behind the Phillies. What can we do here?
I was talking about it before, and I know Tommy sometimes is joking. I really don't know when Tommy's serious or joking or positive Tommy or in character or what. But like, you can't do it. You can't break up. You put your best hitters at the top of the lineup. There are outs. You can't run into outs with your younger guys or your. You can't do it. You can't spread these guys out. And what you want is these pitchers. You don't want these pitchers to have breaks in the lineup. You want these pitchers to have to face Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, McNeil, professionals, all-stars, batting champs, guys that are going to have tough at-bats. You don't want to give them any breaks in the lineup. But what do? I don't know. I don't know who you lead off. You put Nimmo back at the leadoff and then move Lindor down. Put Soto back at 2, Pete at 3, move McNeil down. If Vientos was Vientos is a top of the order guy, but his first night back tonight, he's 0 for 4 with 2 Ks pop up. Like, there's not many options.
Yeah, Keith, I'm with you here. I'm just trying to, we're 2-8 in the last 10. I'm just trying to think about different ways to mix it up. I'm totally spitballing here. I had a ton of things that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm only gonna take your time for a couple. But hear me out. What if going into next season we think about Soto first base, and then we think about Kyle Tucker running in the right field because he's going to be a free agent next year? What if we explore that possibility?
Why not? You got the money to do it. You got the owner that'll do it. Why not be in on him? Soto projects to be a DH in a few years anyway. Even tonight, and I kept making sure I brought it up. Canario hit that ball over Juan Soto's head, and Juan Soto took 2 steps in on it. Like, he did not read it right. He did not play that ball correctly at all. He's just he's an average defender. Kyle Tucker is a better defender than him. Maybe there's something there. I doubt it, though. Thanks for the call. Kyle Tucker is going to be the prize free agent. Vladdy signed. Like, Tucker's going to be up there. Tucker's the guy that everybody wants. And I think he's enjoying himself on the north side of Chicago with the Cubs. And I think the Cubs have money, too, and they're going to make a play at him. I don't know if the Yankees even really are. Where are the Yankees going to play him? Left field? Not with Dominguez and Spencer Jones and Belly and Judge. And, I don't know. I think Kyle Tucker stays a Cub. I think he likes it there, and I think that they have the money to pay him. But I understand the thought. Right now, you're scuffling. Right now, you're losing games. Right now, your offense is nada, and the pitching is evaporating. The pitching is disappearing every game. So you're like, what do we do? And even next year, can we add a Kyle Tucker in right field, move Soto to first? That's also assuming that you're not bringing Pete Alonso back. I think you might want to spend the money to bring Pete Alonso back. But Pete Alonso right now is not MVP like he was. Pete Alonso was sitting with Tommy Lugauer at the Cadillac Club. I didn't catch it live, but I saw the video, and I thought it was hilarious because the video was so well done. Shout out to our digital team. You just see Pete's face as he's trying to comprehend a zone lineup where you're breaking up the hitters in the line. You just can't do that. Let's hear, if you didn't hear, Tommy Lugauer, Evan, and Tiki talking to Pete Alonso about kind of spreading the wealth in this Mets lineup.
Tommy had this wacky idea yesterday to play zone offense with the Mets lineup. So that means either you, Lindor, or Juan Soto hitting leadoff, one of the other two hitting fourth, and the last one hitting 8th or 7th.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea, Pete.
Is that a terrible idea as everybody thought it was yesterday, or is there some merit to it? Nobody would have thought that Shohei Ohtani would be leading off.
Now, Pete, before you answer, I'm Tommy. Yeah. So just know before you answer. So when Evan says he hates it, he means he secretly likes it.
No, I don't.
He loved the idea today.
I was like, why not?
You just said you let off before, and this isn't knocking anybody. I'm positive, Tommy. It's just about spreading out. It's not knocking anyone. It's just about seeking a problem and finding a solution.
It sounded different when he was.
I'm an idea man.
Pete,
you're allowed to punch him if you want. I thrive on enthusiasm, Pete. Come on. He's speechless. Is that a good thing?
No. I have no words. No words.
It's that
That's
dumb.
never been suggested. Ever.
Maybe just take a little time. Can you pass it along to Mendy for me? Just say, this is idea. You spread the 4 best hitters out throughout the lineup. That way, every inning you have one of the best hitters.
It's not going to work.
You get to
Tommy.
lead off.
You got to give this one up. You got to pass this one.
Just give him a time to think.
No.
Not even a maybe.
That's hard no.
Tommy has and Pete Alonso's sitting next to Loogie, and Loogie tells him, I'm positive Tommy. He's probably sitting there positive of what? Positive Tommy sounds like a 90s movie character that gets some bad news at the clinic in the first scene. Pete Alonso is like, bro, what am I doing here? You guys want a zone offense? You're positive Tommy? What? Pete Alonso's face. If you guys haven't seen that, go to our Instagram. I think it might be on the Twitter. Pete Alonso's face is just like, what? What are we talking about? This is serious or this is not serious? It's It's seriously funny. It's funny. We just got to figure something out here with the Mets, and they got to just get back to hitting and playing better baseball and figure this out with the pitching scuffling. You got too much money at the top of the order. I think Fanatics Fest I was talking about. Lindor makes $30 million. Alonso's making $30 million. Nimmo got his money. Soto makes $50 million. Like those guys make too much money at the top of the order to break them up, or for them to not be drilling pitchers and just like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's bigger than me. It's above me. I don't have the answers. Maybe Robert in Bergen County does. I don't have the answers for why they can't hit.
Yeah, I think that it's a lack of superstition. I mean, where was all the fun from last year and this year? The gay Mets, Grimace. We're missing all this fun superstition.
OMG, you had a song. Like
in a bottle.
When I saw that Friday night baseball game on Apple TV where they broke into a concert on the field, I'm like, I couldn't hate on it. People tried to hate on it. I remember Morash was saying like, oh, this is going to start a string of bad luck. They're going to lose the series. They did not lose the series. They stayed hot. I couldn't hate on it. I'm like, yo, you have a player that just performed. He just turned into a performance, like a pop star. We've never seen this.
Right. We need the fun Mets back with superstitions. I think that's where I think that's the energy from last year with all the superstitions we had going for us. I think that's what the Mets are missing in 2025.
You're right, Robert. The Mets' whole thing is you got to believe. What do you got to believe in? Superstitions. 888-808-1019. They got to come up. They got to cook up some type of gimmicks. The gimmicks that the Mets had last year, no one could put their finger on exactly what it was, but it was working. It was working in a cosmic, otherworldly way. The way that the Mets were hitting last year, I remember, I don't look at fan graphs. I don't do the baseball savant stuff. I remember looking and I'm like, every game they were having double-digit hits, scoring runs. Everybody was hitting from the top of the order to the bottom of the order. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It's one of those baseball things. Like, they just bought into the song. I remember watching them. They had a day off, and there was some type of like charity event, and they were all in suits. And Jose Iglesias comes up, and he's just freshly with the team, but he performs OMG, and they're vibing to it. And I'm like, what is this? They have a theme song now. They have a pop star on their team, a journeyman pop star that, like, you got to believe. The power of belief, believing in something, believing that, hey, like, you know, Grimace threw out the first pitch on June 12th. Jorge Lopez, you sacrificed him throwing a glove into, like, when have you seen a baseball game where the pitcher comes off the mound and throws a glove, breaks the wall between fans and players, throws a glove into the stand, and it was caught by a Yankee fan? That's cosmic. That's powerful. There's something in the universe when those things happen. The Mets need something like that to happen ASAP. 888-808-1019. Let me get a Yankee call in before we take this next break. Will is in New Rochelle. What's up, Will? You're on the fan.
How you doing tonight, man?
Great.
Listen, I wanted to make a quick Yankee comment, but, you know, I'm just hearing what the previous caller said. You're getting a lot of good info about the Mets. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. I'm undefeated this year when I go, 6-0. The last time I went to a game when the Yankees lost, before I continue, was Game 5 of the World Series. So, you know, just want to leave it at that. I don't want to hear any, oh, my God. Yes, I know. I got to watch.
I was there, too.
I got to watch Aaron Judge drop a fly ball. I got to watch. And even this year, the Yankees particularly will annoy me, give me a headache, where it's like, I've never seen an MLB baseball team more that handles a 3-1, or excuse me, a first baseman flip to the pitcher, ground ball out more difficultly than the Yankees do. But, you know, my point overall is, I've been saying this to my Mets fans all year. I watch a lot of Mets games. I watch every Yankee game. They don't have a frontline starter. I look at baseball success as, if we close our eyes and we have a 5-game playoff series tomorrow, who are our 3 starters? And for the Mets, you know, Clay Holmes has been excellent. He certainly was not this as a Yankee fan, but, you know, the Mets the baseball gods owed them positive karma. They let Seth Lugo walk. He kept telling them, hey, I'm a starter. They didn't listen. He's been excellent for Kansas City. But
Zach Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler, they let
Jacob
him
DeGrom.
go.
They didn't pay Jacob DeGrom more than the Rangers.
And I was watching the Yankee game yesterday versus Cincinnati, and we were comfortably up, and I randomly get an alert. Oh, DeGrom's perfect through 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And
I
I was
text all
watching
my
that.
boys, hey. And then I swear to God, I text all my boys, hey, tune into the Texas game real quick. He's got a perfect game versus Baltimore.
Yep.
The first batter, he walked him. First batter in the set. It was Jackson Holliday. It's great at bat, and that's why he's an all-star finalist. You know, kills me once again that it's either Holliday, division rival, or Gleyber Torres. But my overall point here is the Mets don't really have anybody in a 5-game series that scares me, that concerns me.
They don't have
in the NL.
Yeah, they don't have a stopper.
Like,
and coming up here, Will, are you going to the Subway Series? What I was saying to the Met fan earlier is, hey, you better get this pitching right this week because, like, the Yankees kind of went through their little rut here, and they're going to come into Citi Field ready to hit. And who are you throwing? Blade Tidwell? Clay Holmes?
Blade Tidwell.
I hope Clay Holmes is pitching one of those games. I hope Clay Holmes gets to start one of those games. Frankie Montas.
I hope Clay Holmes is pitching one of those games. I would absolutely love that. I feel like for the Yankees, we may not even the Yankees may not rock him, so it's like like he's a starter. But I can see a stat line for Clay Holmes where it's like 4 innings, 2 earned, but there's randomly like 5 or 6 walks because he can't control
everybody.
2 pitches. Exactly. And, you know, with the guys for the Mets, because they don't have anyone that scares me, especially in October when it's the playoffs, they don't have guys that scare me that have pedigree to get there. They don't have any starters that can give
Sean Manaea is coming back.
Plus innings. Sean Manaea has been excellent. He's been hurt. I hope he comes back and he's healthy because he was excellent last year. And I loved, for the Mets as a Yankee fan, I loved this little video on Twitter before the Phillies were playing the Mets and Manaea was starting in Citi Field. They were like, oh, Phillies are hitting, led by Bryce Harper, Phillies are hitting the pitching machine at an angle where Sean Manaea throws. So they're ready for him. And then he goes like 6 shutout innings. Like, yeah, sure you were, Philly. Like,
they always say that with the pitching machine. They said that they had the pitching machine on the side for Chris Sale, the Mets. And what did Chris Sale do against the Mets? Like, the machine is a machine. It cannot actually mimic the whole at bat you're going to get when you're facing Chris Sale. Great call, Will. Thanks for the call. 888-808-1019. Let's break it down now because now I have a full rack of calls. And if you want to get in a last call, dial up so we can get you in. I've got 25 minutes left. Keith McPherson on the Fan, BRB.
This week on The Fan. Listen Monday for your chance to score a pair to see Adam Sandler's You're My Best Friend tour.
Live Nation, The Fan 1019 FM and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Town Fair Tire, Connecticut's largest discount tire dealer, because we give you the guaranteed lowest. We honor every manufacturer's rebate. We even honor all our competitors' rebates.
Now the chat is cooking, and I got like a couple minutes left. Let's see. They also tried to rub their pitching lab against us. Yeah. I was told that I'm gonna star that because Positive Tommy said that Clay Holmes is gonna have a better year than Max Fried. Yo, let that haterade flow. This is the week to do it. It's Saturday. We face the Mets Friday.
295 7th Avenue between West 26th and 27th Street. Wayback Burgers, known for their fresh ground beef, made-to-order burgers, milkshakes, and fries, also serves up a variety of chicken sandwiches and delicious sides. Visit waybackburgers.com to view the full menu and order ahead. Whether you're at the office or catching a train, stop by Wayback Burgers. Made the right way, burgers, fries, and shakes. That's Wayback Burgers of Manhattan.
Bro, my boy is hitting on everything that I think right here. Yes, it's a safe space. Yeah, Positive Tommy sounds like a South Park character.
Sign up for swim lessons today at Stewie the Duck House.
Soda.
Profits from the school will go.
Okay, here's it. Keith, you're gonna be too tired to go to the game, but gave Rodon a hard time.
Log into your DSP
It's well played, but those are two completely different types of tired. I'm gonna be sleep deprived. I gotta drive to the game. I gotta watch a 2-year-old baby. I gotta watch the game. And when I go to the game, there's a 0% chance that I don't take a selfie with someone. There's a 0% chance that I don't meet someone, shake their hand, and have a full-on conversation with them. It takes a lot of energy. So, nah, I'm gonna sit that out. That was the thought. Man, I'm about to bring Ade Hakeem. Am I saying your name right? Ade Hakeem. I'm gonna bring some of this to the radio because you spitting right now. Better call Grimace. Better call Grimace. Bro, they be hating on me like it's gonna change something. It doesn't ever change anything. Facts.
Taxes and fees guaranteed for 3 years because at Verizon they got you. Stay local. Verizon store today. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a unit added on
Right now, we can't say, bro. Right now, we can't say anything different, bro. Right now, bro. I'm about to put this in the chat. They tweaked, bro. They took it a little too far. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. When I saw this, it has nothing to do with homophobia. It has nothing to do with heterosexual or homosexual, but it has everything to do with the country. It has everything to do with the anthem. You don't put up any other, like, I don't know how many. I've been to hundreds of games. I've been to 16 ballparks. You don't do this, yo. Like, we're in America. When you salute the flag and the national anthem and you put that on the big screen, like, there is no swapping that out. In respect to the LGBTQ community, but like, that flag represents a small amount of us. The American flag represents a large amount of us, and we're physically in America. So I think they tweaked with this, bro. I think they took the marketing for Pride Night a little bit too far. Just a smidge. And so now people that are saying it's a curse and pointing to that, you like, bro, nobody asked for that, yo. Like, I don't even think anybody in the LGBTQ community asked for that. Hey, can you put that flag up during the national anthem? Nah. They took it too far, bro. They took it too far, bro. Like, oh, Amber, I didn't know you identify. So perfect. Like I don't like what I'm saying, and I can't speak for anybody, but like, I don't think there was one person in attendance in the LGBTQ community that was like, I hope they put that flag up, because like, you can be a proud American and be in the LGBTQ community and salute the flag and the national anthem and look up there and see the pride flag and be like, what is this? Right. And that's what I'm saying, bro. There's a viral video on Twitter right now where it seems like a gay man starts the video talking about how he was specifically invited to the game, to the suite, by the owners. He doesn't know the players, all this other stuff. I gotta get back to the show. This is the last run of the show, so
Let's get to it, man. 888-808-1019. I got a full rack of calls. Last call for calls. It's New York City. We're talking New York baseball. Trying to figure out what the next gimmick is for the Mets. And then, talking about the things that are going on with the Mets now. In my live chat, shout out to people in my live chat. There are people in my live chat that are Black, white, Hispanic, some anonymous, but also shout out to Amber in the chat who identifies, I'm guessing, with the LGBTQ community. But what we were having a conversation about during the break was the Mets putting up the pride flag during the national anthem. That video has circulated on Twitter. I saw Lenny Dykstra say something about it. I saw, what's the dude from Outkick's name? He spoke out on it. It seems like they took it a little bit too far. Clay Travis. It seems like Pride Night, great. And I remember I got on the fan and I criticized the Yankees for how long it took them to establish a Pride Night. But the Yankees marched to the beat of their own drum, and then they started the Stonewall scholarship fund, and they did it in their own way. And now they do it annually, and there's I think they've been doing it now for 7 or 8 years. But we're physically in America. I've been to hundreds of games. I've been to a bunch of ballparks. Whenever I'm at a game and they do the national anthem or God Bless America, I take my hat off. I have my hand over my heart. You salute the flag. You got to know that is a sacred thing. And to kind of mess around and throw the LGBTQ pride flag over the national anthem on the big screen. What I said in the chat is I don't even think anybody from the LGBTQ community asked for that. So now what people are running with is that since the Mets did that, they've been cursed. Crazy. 888-808-1019. Sean is out on Long Island on the fan.
Hey, Keith, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, first of all, first time, long time. I'm a Mets fan. You're a Yankees fan, but I still think you do a really, really great job. You're one of the best overnight hosts we've had in a long time. So I just wanted to give you a quick shout out there.
Appreciate it.
Man, you kind of threw me for a loop with that whole Pride Night thing. I'm a big supporter of that community, so I'm a little surprised by your take. But
I'm a supporter as well. I'm a supporter as well, but I'm also an American who understands when we're saluting the flag and doing the national anthem, we don't need to adjust that. We don't need to change that for any night, for any group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely understand that side of it. I just think if you really think about it, pride and standing up for who you are, no matter what, is a very American concept if you really think about it. But I don't know. You weren't hateful about it or anything. I'm not saying that, but I thought you'd be more of a loud supporter like I am. But you're not a hater. So
I support everybody. I'm Black. So when you talk about marginalized and discriminated against communities, I live that every single day. And I'm not saying this.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is, hey, if people are running with a narrative that there's a curse, and then you actually think about it, maybe they went a little bit too far with swapping out the American flag for the LGBTQ flag. Thanks for the call, Sean. 888-808-1019. But ultimately, they're not playing good baseball. Ultimately, they're not pitching well. Ultimately, they're not hitting, and injuries happen regardless of that. But as we talk about these superstitious things, you can't leave that out. So my take on it is anybody that's running with that, it might be valid right now until the Mets start winning again. Last year, I do remember people making jokes about the gay Mets, the pride Mets, because they did get hot in the month of June. And when we talked about Grimace, when we talked about Jorge Lopez, we talked about the players meeting OMG, all of these things, I kind of stayed away from that. But this is something that, like I said, Lenny Dykstra spoke about it, Clay Travis spoke about it, and there are multiple Mets fans that are pointing to their records since that. And me being Black, I remember how people felt about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem. That was a huge thing. It's still a thing, right? That went on for years. And if you go back to what Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee for, he was taking a knee for injustice, police brutality, killings of African-American people in American communities. He was getting the people's attention during the anthem, and they literally ended his career for that. So, like, I just think we don't play with that. We don't play with the national anthem. We're coming up on 4th of July. We're coming up on celebrating Independence Day. It's just a thought. We're supposed to share our thoughts and opinions and stuff like that here in America, specifically on The Fan, talking about our New York baseball teams and sports. Tony's in Montreal on The Fan next, calling from Canada. Tony, you with us?
I'm with you. I'm listening, and I just want to say a couple things, Keith. You know, one of the most tolerant countries in the world that has been working on tolerance from some enormously political things that happened to your country from the Civil War till today. There is no perfection in any country of any democracy, and everybody lives some type of either difficulty or violence. And what makes great societies is tolerance, right? But the tolerance that I'm looking at is the greatness of the country and the greatness of the flag, tradition, and pastime. When I go to a baseball game, I'm going to a baseball game with my father when I was a kid to enjoy the game, to enjoy the people on the field and the fans, and to cheer for your team, because we are in that to forget about our lifestyle problems and where we're coming from, and we join in community to build something on a Sunday afternoon to have these great memories. 50 years that I had when I was a kid. So I remember my father, who's not here anymore, right? And my dad had a partner from the Bronx who came to Montreal to work for my dad in the insurance business. And this guy was blind, Keith. And I told my dad, he's a season ticket holder at Jarry Park and then at Olympic Stadium to watch the Expos play all the time. And I asked my dad, like, why does the blind guy want to go see the game? And so he says, go ask him. I went to see Stan. I said, Stan, how come you go to the games? You can't see the games. He goes, I go for the community. I go for the sounds. I go for the crack of the bat, the snap of the ball when it hits the catcher's mitt. I go for the crowd roar. I know when the ball's hit. That's what we're talking about. So when you're talking about replacing the Canadian flag with a political or a socially significant flag like the LGBTQ flag, what you're doing is you're marginalizing that group of people and saying they're special on this night. So my question is that we're all special. Everybody's special. We should have a flag for every community. What about indigenous communities? And what about people that are blind? Why don't we have a night for blind people who come to baseball games? We could have a night for everybody. And one of the things you were saying about the flag, when you salute the flag, you're saluting the country, you're saluting the game, and you're respecting tradition. That's what it's all about. A Yankee fan could be a Democrat. A Yankee fan could be an independent. A Yankee fan could be a Republican. When you go to the stadium, that's forgotten. You're a Yankee fan. And I just want to say this last thing, okay? Nobody is against anybody that's marginalized. If you are, you're not thinking right, okay? You're not. But a baseball game is to bring us together so that we cheer and we win or lose and we go on to our lives the next day. But the thing is, I don't think you should pander to anybody. And if we're going to talk about people that deserve a day, okay, the people who died in the wars get one day, and people forget. And I told your producer, I had a friend, Eddie Ndingaro, who's now sitting on the corner in Arlington at gas stations because he's a vegetable after coming out of Vietnam, and he was the greatest goalie in high school in the state of Massachusetts. And I met him when I was a kid. I was 10 and he was 14. He was at a hockey school, Henri Richard Hockey School. He was a superstar. Mm-hmm. We gotta understand that politics does not have anything to do with sports. And we learned that lesson in Munich. Politics are out of sports. And Muhammad Ali said that. He went to jail to prove that politics should not be in sports. We should just play the game and the best of the best win and lose on the field, not with politics, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Tony. Yeah, I wish it was that simple. I wish that was the reality in 2025, but it's not. It's not. the great thing about sports is it doesn't matter your political affiliation, your background. It's supposed to be a great equalizer, right? The only thing that's supposed to matter in sports is your performance, whether you win or lose, whether you're good or you're bad, whether you can play or you can't play. I think we're getting a little ways away from where I was trying to go, but let's bring it back to like David Peterson, his performance tonight or lack thereof, Blade Tidwell, the Mets lineup, Juan Soto, another solo shot being the only run scored, and the Mets now just in a bad one. They were able to salvage a split against the Braves, but then they go into Pittsburgh in a series where you got to win this series. And they just made it harder for themselves because now they got to win back-to-back games. They just made it harder for themselves because they had first place for a day, and now they're back, a half game back. And with Griffin Canning going down and Senga down and McGill down and Montas just coming back, like there's a lot in flux. Let's talk to Norm, who's out in Pittsburgh right now on the Fan. What's up, Norm?
Hey, Keith. It's been a pleasure to listen to you guys since 1987, and you're probably familiar with Naval Weapons Station Earl, New Jersey, and we're very thankful to carry WFAN with us for all these years. The last two calls that I listened to kind of changed my trajectory, and I'm very thankful for those two calls. Only on WFAN can you get this type of banner. And the one thing I would ask you is, what do you think about live reads? I could talk about Peterson all night. I could talk about the Mets and the Bucks. But what do you think about live reads within the game itself on the radio? I think it's insidious. My grandson asked me about it, and it just seems like, you know, these announcers are fantastic. They're just fantastic. Dave Sims, fantastic. So what do you think about that?
Live reads, like promos, like ads that are built into the the strike three, and this strike is brought to you by the Mission Zero initiative. Yeah. Drive. Like, what do I think about them? I think that they're paid for. They're part of the production. Like they're part of, like the Yankees have a ton of these built into their pregame, game, and postgame show because it's money driven. They're purchased.
And do you think that it seems to us like it's more prevalent now than it was?
Perhaps. I think they get pitched these things, and I know when I sat in for Susan Waldman, I honestly was overwhelmed with the amount. They're sliding you flashcards like, read this now. Right, this is the first walk of the game. Read something. That pitch was over 95 miles an hour. Read this. At this part of the game, after the third inning, we got to plug the New Era store. It's like it's all marketing. It's all sales and marketing.
But it's almost insidious. I mean, it's like the logos on the team uniforms. The live reads are increasing. It's just it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's all business. Thanks for the call, Norm. It's all business. All of this stuff is to generate money. All of this stuff is knowing that they have X amount of people listening and they can market to that audience. That's all it is. I don't know if it's insidious. If you feel like it's insidious, just watch the game and call the game yourself. And I'm not saying that to be funny or to be like, what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want to hear, like, that is what you're signing up for. It's also a free radio station for you to listen to. So that's part of the game. I could watch a baseball game with no commentary. When John Smoltz is on, I don't listen to the game. Let's go to Reggie in White Plains on the Fan next. What's up, Reggie?
Keith, always appreciate you allowing me to join your show.
Yes, sir.
Before Yankee point, you mentioned your kid recognizing the Yankee logo. Funny story, the other day I had Evan and Tiki on the TV, and my little girl who's 6 randomly starts saying, "Daddy, I want to meet the baseball girl. Let's go to the Mets game, Daddy." And Mrs. Met was on a commercial on SNY, and now I got a big problem on my hands, so just be careful with that.
The baseball girl, yes, Mrs. Met, a human-sized baseball person.
Yeah, so they got her. They got her with that. Now she wants to go to a Mets game. I got to figure that out. But anyway.
Subway Series.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. You mentioned the ups and downs, recently asking yourself why we care, like why we let it affect us so much. And You know, I'm the same way. The other day I was bored. I logged on my Facebook account. You know how randomly it'll pop up like old memories? So I got one from 13 years ago. My father commenting on a post I made, the story about how his first game that his father took him to, Mickey Mantle homered from both sides of the plate in that game. And it kind of rocked me a little bit because I didn't even pay attention to it at the time when he did that 13 years ago. But it made me start crying, you know, just because baseball is awesome. And I just thought that, you know, it reminded me that, you know, have fun and just, you know, take it for what it's worth because it's been going on for a long time. And he's a Mickey Mantle guy. I'm a Bernie Williams guy. I bought the 95 Mitchell and Ness Bernie jersey because it had the 7 on the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
I got him with me whenever I go to a game now, so it's pretty sweet.
God bless you, and thanks for sharing that story. Shout out to Bernie. I wish I was going to Bernie's wine event today. If you're up by Millbrook in upstate New York, the Millbrook Winery, go check out Bernie Williams' wine event. It's one of one. They play music, they sample wines, they've got food trucks with pizza and nachos and whatever you want up there. And it's just like the sun sets and you just have this big field where everybody's vibing, listening to like smooth jazz music, and it's Bernie Williams. I wish I was going, but I can't find anyone to watch my kid. Last call of the night goes to Frank in Morristown. What's up, Frank? You're on the Fan.
Hey, what's up, Keith? I just want to talk about the Yankees trade deadline.
Okay.
I have some hot takes here, coming straight from the Iron Bar, so really hot takes. So I think the Yankees should trade Volpe because he's not a guy for the spotlight. Really, he sucks. To be quite frank, he's not going to ever be Jeter.
Trade him at this deadline?
Yeah, this is about the deadline. I think they get rid of Volpe. I think they get rid of Judge. He's 33. You know, production is high right now. Might as well get the highest value. And also, you know what? Screw it. Give Fried away because he's also getting older. He's 31. Judge is 33.
Well, he said he came from the Iron Bar. Thanks for the call. 888-808-1019. I mean, they're not going to trade Volpe. Volpe makes $879. I'm not even justifying that, bro. I don't even have the time. Coming up next, your co-host of the Rico Bronya podcast, also the producer of BT and Sal during the midday, probably pound for pound, the biggest dude walking around WFAN, Pete Hoffman on the Fan. Pete, is that a good enough intro? Is that a good enough pass? A good enough layup? A good enough, not layup, assist? All right, I got to go home and go to sleep, man. I've got like 5 hours until my son wakes everybody up. So I got to be out. See you guys Monday. Thanks for listening to my show. Keith McPherson on the Fan.
Sports Radio 101.